session.
Do you believe in the commentator's curse? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight UK, and we are here for round 7 of season 2 in Montreal, Canada, at the Jacques Villeneuve circuit. And joining me in the commentary box is Guido Erschen. Good evening, Guido.
Good evening, Eddie.
And how are you this evening, sir?
Fine. Weather's good. Everybody's sitting inside.
Yeah, everybody's home. Doing as they're told, being safe, saving lives.
There you go.
But let's have a look now at the championship standings, and a bit of a turnaround from last week, because leading the championship is Dylan Platt on 108 championship points. Second is Phil Harris for Ferrari on 94. Third is still Sean Street for McLaren. Lee Pratt for Ferrari is 4. Moving up to 5, Josh Diggles for Williams. Ryan Leah for Haas is in 6. 7 is Ross Milburn. 8 is Chris Knight. 9 is Callum White. 10 is Matt Goodyear for Mercedes. 11 is Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. 12 is Jack Wilson for Renault. 13 is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. 14, Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. 15, Cameron Widdowson for Williams. Tony Foster for McLaren is 16. 17 is Adrian Rich for Renault. 18 is Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. Ryan Doran for Haas is 19. And 20 is Kyle Jackson. Guido, obviously, last week after that tragic DNF, obviously did not finish for Phil Harris after that collision that occurred between, bizarrely enough, the safety car coming out, going into, if I recall, I think it was Adrian Rich, and then him taking Phil Harris out. It's all a bit of a mess, wasn't it, in that first lap?
It was a bit of a mess, but that's what you can expect in Monaco. When you go next to each other, it's very tight, and, well, things happen over there, and it did. Yeah, very, very true. Obviously, changed things around. Dylan Plack took the win. He's now only 14 points ahead of Phil Harris. So it's all still there, isn't it? I mean, it's still very, very close between those two. Yeah, it is still there, but it's a significant change now because he's now getting on top. And let's see if he maintains that lead.
Yeah, indeed. Sean Street, as I say, obviously he's solid there in third place. Pretty even either way. He could still get into that top 2 quite easily. So I think he's certainly a championship contender. Lee Pratt, somewhat still in the game, a little bit further behind. Then you've got obviously the midfield, Josh Diggles making a bit of a leap there up to 40. But then you still got from P6, really right down to P17, Guido. It's still really tight, isn't it?
It's tight. Nice. That's good. You know, it's a lot of fighting in the middle, like that, close to each other, and all to go for, all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Let's see how that reflects, obviously, in the Constructors' Championship. So, still leading the way are Ferrari on 141 points. However, Red Bull inching ever closer, now on 130 constructor points. In third, we have McLaren on 86. In fourth, we have Rocket Williams on 56. In fifth, we have Alfa Romeo on 41. 6, we have Racing Point on 40. 7 are Haas on 36. 8 are Renault on 32. 9 are Toro Rosso on 27. And 10 is currently Mercedes on 22 championship points. Obviously, we can see the drivers, as it obviously would be, reflected in the constructors, but real tight race again still between Ferrari and Red Bull, but Ferrari currently leading the way in the constructors.
Yeah, and I think that Red Bull is definitely climbing, and I hope that Callum White just goes up a little, and that they're both contributing to the points. And I think then it will be fine. It will be close, and even in the top of the league.
Yeah, got to say, I do agree with you on that one. Let's have a look at the track now. So this is the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, just outside Montreal in Quebec, Canada. 14 corners, although some might say 15, depends on the track map you look at, but we're going with the official one. And circuit length is 2.71 miles. The total race length is 189.686 miles, and we're looking at 70 laps. Guido, obviously it is a technical track, but it's also got some real humdingers thrown in there, hasn't it? Yeah, some really.
It's a fast track, and I think the big problem is going to be the hairpin at Sector 3.
Yep.
And obviously the Wall of Champions, but let's not forget 6 and 7, 4 and 3. Difficult corners to get, and it's easy to accumulate some penalty points that, as you will, time penalty points in the game in this on this circuit.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you on that one, mate. Okay, so let's have as I say, a quick look through the circuit itself. So Sector 1 takes us around Turn 1 into Turn 2, the Virage Senna, the Senna turn, through the left to right, 3, 4 and 5. Then Sector 2 starts just as we're coming into Turn 6, Pont la Concorde, down the straight to the Droite de Casino, and then that leads us into the third sector, and this is the tricky one here, La Pangle, the pin. That hairpin there leading us then round down the casino straight into the chicane of the pit entrance and the wall of champions on the exit of turn 14. Very challenging track. 3 quite different sectors, and we saw in last year's Real World Championship the mishaps, let us say, that happened at turn 6, 7 and then 8, 9, etc. And that's where you're going to see some real action. Why? Because the DRS detection point for the first DRS is just as you're coming into turn 6, activates out of turn 7 down towards turn 8. And then the second DRS detection point is as you're coming out of 9, speeding up effectively towards turn 10, but has 2 activations. So it activates effectively on the exit of turn 11 down to that chicane of 13, 14, and then activates again on their exit down to turn 1. And the speed trap, obviously, at the end, just before you go into the pit entry there, it is really, really tricky. And that wall of champions just really... You know, it's great if you're a solo car going through there, you're pretty safe. But, you know, we're going to see 2 cars, 3 cars coming down that casino straight with the DRS. And they're all going to want to go into that corner, aren't they, Guido?
Yeah, they're all going to want to go in there. They want to dive in there. And it's just, let's see who has the longest breath, who takes the longest, who breaks the latest. Yeah. And that's where you can win. But they really have to take care of each other in there, because otherwise it's really going to be carnage.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Could not agree more with you. Okay, so we are going to switch over now to the actual broadcast itself. So if you bear with us a second, we're going to get that sorted out now. So there do I see. Okay, so let's do that there. I'm just going to put on quick video while we do that in the background. But Guido, if you can run through the runners and riders for us.
Yeah, we have 2 guys that are not.
Guys, keep it.
Two backstart penalties, Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo and Callum White for Red Bull. They both got the penalties for not uploading their clips. So please guys, next time upload your clips.
Indeed, Guido, we have said it before, but the drivers obviously, a little reminder, don't forget to upload your clips because you will serve penalties. And we can see here, Guido, it's raining.
It's raining.
It's raining.
Yes. And I'm getting somebody in my ear saying we have no sound.
No, we're good. We're good to go. Don't worry. That has been resolved. Unfortunately, I muted the wrong mic, as you probably heard when I shouted out "guys" to my children in the background, who was wonderfully screaming and shouting.
It happens.
It happens. It's you know, it's a situation we're in.
It's for everybody at home. We're doing this as a hobby. We're sitting at home watching the TV and kids running around everywhere. So that's what happens.
So weather-wise, though, this is going to be interesting. Looks like we've got rain, Guido.
Rain. Yeah, rain. I hate rain. It's good to watch at. Let me say that, because anything will go here. Yeah. Somebody who's really fast normally will go to the back and vice versa. So it is awesome to have rain in a race.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. As we know, obviously, the guys currently in the wet, they will be on the intermediate tyres, but it looks like rain for most of the queues. But interestingly, we are looking at a dry race. However, we are looking at a possibility of rain 90 minutes in.
90 minutes?
Approximately. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on there. We've got a yellow flag. As we can see, Thomas Cook and obviously Callum White have DNF'd there. Those are the two drivers that are DNFing. It's 18 drivers total. Two drivers not racing this evening. That's Carl Jackson for Mercedes and Lee Pratt for Ferrari. And they are not going to be racing this evening. And then those two back starts, Thomas Cook and Callum White there. We are on board with Matt Goodyear at this moment in time. He's coming into the pits. Let's have a quick look here. Jake Sorrell set a 1:19.4. Phil Harris in the pits, he set a 1:19.7. Ross Milburn, unfortunately, still having issues with his ID for the racing, but that's Ross Milburn, Rose Millhouse, Ross Milburn. He's done a 1:20.4. Matt Goodyear, who following, has done a 1:20.9. Jamie Good, 1:21. Richard Williams, Toro Rosso, 1:21.5. Ryan Lear in Haas, 1:21.8. Josh Diggles in the Williams, a 1:22.8. Looks, somebody's just jumped up there. That was Chris Knight with a 1:21. And Josh Diggles has a 1:20.226, sorry. So he jumps up there. Jamie Good, 1:21.0. Richard Williams, Ryan Lear. Ryan Doran, a 1:22.1. Tony Foster, 1:24.0. So he's currently on out lap. It's still in the pits. Adrian Rich, Dylan Platt, and Cameron Widdowson is out in that second. Williams just looks like he's coming down towards turn. Where are we? Yeah, he's coming up to turns 8, 9. Droite de Casino, and on the run down to La Pangle, the pin, turn 10. That is a bit of hairy one. Let's watch him on this one here now, especially in wet weather conditions. Oh yeah, definitely not too sure on his braking point there, but took it well. Let's actually have a look at who was that, Chris Knight, or was that Thomas Cook? It's Chris Knight. It was Chris Knight. Yeah, just coming round as well.
He's on the long straight.
You can have a look, see the conditions that those guys are driving in. Not too bad. I've seen it worse, got to say, from a driver's perspective anyway. I'm just going to check on the rain situation for the queues, actually. Yeah, Q1 is definitely rain throughout, although it will lighten up towards the end, so we might see the guys possibly going on to dry tyres, but I doubt it because there's still very light rain, but it's still, I think they're still going to be on the intermediates there.
Yeah.
So Dylan Platt has come out. He's on his out lap now. Everyone else set time, so we might as well go on board with Dylan for that one. Actually, just quickly change something here.
Yeah, he's on the back straight going for his run.
Let's watch him now. We'll go on board for that.
Oh, the world champions, nice and close.
So let's stay on board for Dylan Platt for this one. Give you a driver's perspective. Nicely into that corner there. Let's watch him actually round turn 2. Looking good. Onto that run down now towards turn 6, 7. Now he's going through. There we go. Into 6, 7 now. Obviously no DRS, but this is where the DRS straight would be. You saw that line across the track there. That's where it would activate under normal dry conditions. Down to the Droite de Casino, turn 8, 9, then leading down to La Pangle, the hairpin turn 10. Looks like somebody went rather deep there. Looks like the Haas actually. Oh, Dylan, a little bit twitchy coming out of 11. Again, this would be the second DRS leading him down towards the start-finish straight, or the little chicane here. Turns 13 and 14, and there we go. Now he didn't make that. So he's going to have to go again. Oh, he did, sorry, 1:18.1, I do apologise. I was just looking at that. I can never remember where the line is on this, but yeah, I mean, fantastic run, 1:18.1. That was a really good run.
Very, very...
I mean, that's 1.3 seconds out of the second fastest, which was Jake Sorrell. We didn't have that. Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point sneaked into that P2 position.
Yeah.
And Phil Harris is in 3rd, Chris Knight in 4, Josh Diggles in 5, Ross Milburn in 6. So Jake Sorrell, great run there. But we've seen this from Jake before, hasn't he? He does some really great work in the qualifying sessions, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I expect some people to shift more up there. I expect some Sean Street to come up there, and yeah. Well, you know, it is the wet, so it's a little bit unpredictable because I don't really know who the drivers are that love the wet.
To be honest, I'm really not too sure. I think some guys seem to do well in it, other guys don't, as we know. But I couldn't say hand on heart who's the best. But look at that, Matt Goodyear in the meantime. Yeah. Look at what he's done there. Great little run from Matt Goodyear. He's done a 1:19.1, so 1 second off Dylan Platt. I mean, Dylan Platt obviously, you know, he's okay in the wet by looks at it. But Matt Goodyear, excuse me, as well. So he's done a great job there. Phil Harris actually got faster time than Jake Sorrell, so he moved up as well. So 1:19.3. Jake Sorrell still on that 1:19.4. He is actually out on track at this moment in time. Ryan Doran though in the Haas again. Look, Ryan Doran performing well again. He's got his feet and 1:19.5. We saw this last week in Monaco as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So great little run from him there. Chris Knight, 1:19.8. Josh Diggles, he's on an outlet at the moment. Ross Milburn, 1:20.4. Let's see where he is. He's just coming down the Casino Straight. So stay on board with him, see if he can improve on his time.
Mr. Rich is going for his fast lap.
Doesn't better his time, up 3 seconds. This will go on to Adrian Rich in a Renault, just coming through sector in the sector 1.
Oh.
Let's see what he can do. Obviously, good position for him last week, finished in P6. I think that sort of broke his duck a bit this season, although it could have been better. Unfortunately, contact with the Williams of Josh Diggles as they were coming into, well, just out of the tunnel, effectively, on the exit there. And
Nouveau chicane.
Yeah, Nouveau chicane, contact between them, and pushed him from 2nd. He was in 2nd at that time, down to 6th, but still great points he picked up. But let's see how he does here. It's not looking too shabby. I suspect we're going to see probably a 1:20, maybe a 1:21. I think it's going to be a 1:20 mark. Yeah, definitely, actually. Might even be better. Let's have a look at this. This is looking really good.
20. Yeah.
1:25. Not bad at all. 1:20.5. Richard Williams, he did a 1:20.5 as well. Ryan Lear, 1:20.5. And Tony Foster, 1:20.5. So they're all in the 1:20.5. Slight variations, obviously, in there. But Ryan Lear and Tony Foster actually exactly the same time, 1:20.532. Cameron Widdowson still not set a time. He is now on a fast lap, so this is his final opportunity to set a time. Remember that we will be losing 2 drivers. And at this moment, it looks like Jack Wilson, he's just in. Sorry, we're losing 1 driver, which will be, we've already lost 3 drivers, sorry. We'll only be losing 3 drivers. So Cameron Widdowson is literally fighting for the opportunity to get into that Q2 session. And Dylan sets at 1:17.4. Jeez. He's just taken out 8/10 from his previous best time. Sorry, 7/10.
Show form.
Let's have a look what Cameron Widdowson can do. Come on, Cameron. Yeah, and he does get through. So he actually pushes Jack Wilson into the drop zone. So Jack Wilson for Renault will be starting in row 8 in P16. Alongside him will be Thomas Cook. And alongside him will be Callum White.
How about that? 1:17.4.414.
That is a great run,
That's
I
a
have
good
got to
run.
say.
That is a good run.
So let's have a look at the results there. Dylan Platt, a 1:17.4. Absolutely amazing run there. Josh Diggle, second fastest, 1:18.8. Great run from him. Matt Goodyear, great run as well, 1:19.1. 1:19.2 from Ross Milburn. Phil Harris, a 1:19.3. Jamie Good, 1:19.3. Jake Sorrell, 7. 8 Ryan Doran. 9 Chris Knight. 10 Sean Street. 11 Ryan Lear. 12 Adrian Rich. 13 Richard Williams. 14 Tony Foster. 15 Cameron Woodson. Those are the guys into Q2. Jack Wilson will be starting P16. 17 will be Thomas Cook. And 18 will be Callum White. So that's the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull starting at the back there. That's going to be interesting for those guys that are going to be starting on the back, especially with those two guys there as well.
Yeah, Red Bull needs, because Ferrari's missing one and Red Bull's missing one.
Yeah.
Let me see. No, Red Bull's in the
Red
back.
Bull's all there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're into Q2, and as you can see, the rain has, it is a little bit lighter.
A little bit.
But the guys I'm pretty sure they're still going to be on intermediates, aren't they, Guido?
Yeah, that's intermediate. That should be intermediate. Oh. Let's see who goes out first. And it's Tony Foster, McLaren. It's obviously a McLaren track.
Well, yeah, let's see. I mean, Tony Foster, obviously McLaren track. Yeah, you're hoping for Thursday anyway.
Well, I'm not McLaren anymore.
Oh, that's true. It was last season, wasn't it? Yeah, you had a great run there. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, actually. So, Tony Foster, first man out on the track. Let's see what he can do on his outlap. Not too sure who's actually behind. Looks like is that a Ferrari behind him, or is it an Alfa Romeo? I think it's Alfa Romeo, isn't it? Yeah, it's is it Phil Harris? I don't know who that is actually. It is the Alfa Romeo.
Where is he?
Chris Knight, I was thinking it was.
Yeah? It's P9?
Yeah, it is Chris Knight. So Tony Foster just coming into the final chicane now as he starts his fast lap. Let's stay on board with him for that one and see how he does. So he's coming round now into the hairpin turn 10. I know, somebody said a purple there.
Oh, sector 1, 2, 3 yellows.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, they're just waiting on each other. Oh, Matt Goodyear is DNF'd.
It looks like he has.
Looks like it, I can't.
We got yellows, it looks like, to the wall of champions. We've got yellows on the start finish straight. It's now gone green, yeah. I think that was Matt into the wall of champions, actually. And Tony Foster sets a 1:20.582. So let's have a look, see where Chris Knight is. He hasn't set a time there because he exceeded the track. So there we go. Cameron Widdowson sets a 1:20.8. Adrian Rich is 1:21.3.
Just move on a little bit on the left side.
Sean Street coming over now. He's just at a 1:21.6. Ryan Doran a 1:22.4. Phil Harris sets a 1:19.5. So let's see what we got here. So Phil Harris, Cameron Woodson, Tony Foster, Adrian Rich, Sean Street, Ryan Doran. So Rose Millhouse sets a time 1:19. That's Ross Milburn, sorry, 1:19.3 from Ross Milburn in the racing point there. Jake Sorrell, his teammate, still in the pits. Chris Knight is coming up again. Let's see what he can do. It's looking clean so far. And this is going to look like a good time here. As he comes over the line, it's a 1:20.0, still puts him up into that P4. So he's clean and through. And where was that? That was Richard Williams just jumped in there, 1:20.5. Good run from him as well. So remember that we will be going from 15 down to 10 for this Q2 session and then going into Q3. Obviously Matt Goodyear is out and I suspect he's going to be starting 15. Oh dearie me, bit of a power slide there by Ryan Doran out of 14. Misses the wall though and does a good run, 1:22.4. Jake Sorrell, as I say, still in the pits. Josh Diggles is out and sets a 1:19.1. So Josh Diggles puts himself up into P3 for this Q2 session with 1:19.151. So that only leaves Jake Sorrell to come out and set a time, although I believe he did seem to have a connection issue. So whether he disconnected and is trying to see if he can get in and get his setup working, not too sure. So hopefully we'll see him come out. Otherwise he will have a technical, unfortunately, and will be out.
Yeah, I've seen a few guys jumping in and out, so there obviously are a few connection issues, but that's basically the name of the game, and in this game anyway.
And to be fair, Guido, I think at this moment in time, obviously a lot of strain on the internet as well, so
yeah.
And there have been some connection issues on the Xbox as well, some weird things happening.
We've seen that the explosion of Formula One or e-motorsports in general. Yeah. The last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, you know,
it's been massive, absolutely massive. It's because Lando Norris cut his hair because of it and drove Verstappen out of the game, and I have no idea what they're all doing, but they're basically pretty much driving every night. Yeah. Well,
I think Lando Norris is pretty much streaming every night at this moment in time. A few other drivers have obviously joined in as well. You're mentioning Verstappen, but quite a few others, both current and past drivers as well.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping for somebody of those guys just to come on and drive with us and drive 100% simulated like we do. Yeah. Because it's nice to see 50% races, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's
you
not.
Know what I mean?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, obviously we try and get as close as we can, running that 100% races as we do. But yeah, it does make a difference.
Yeah,
it does make a difference.
Damage off.
Yeah, damage on. All the cars equal, so it is purely down to driver skill and ability. And it does make a difference. You know, we see, as you quite rightly say, a lot of people do 50% races. Very few do 100% races, and we are one of those few. And I think it just gives people a better representation of what you can actually do and how close you can get to the real thing. And it's amazing how often we see a mirror of what we do here virtually with the real world, isn't it, Guido?
Yeah. Yeah, but I have to say, you know, obviously these guys are just awesome on the track because they spend time in real simulators and they really know how to drive.
Yeah.
And it's all different stuff, you know. I think guys still in this league with controllers.
Yeah.
In the FOTUK league, I think everybody in the NL league is already having a steering wheel.
But it's interesting how guys, you know, a lot of people have problems with the transition. I know a few of the drivers have been chatting about, you know, the issues that they have transitioning across to a wheel, and it's crazy. But it does make a difference, I suppose. Ultimately, what you get used to.
Yeah, it's about the feel, and it's obviously you have to learn. As soon as you know, because if you're playing a game with a controller, you know when to feel, when to press, and that's the same. But you got to do it then with your feet and with your steering wheel, just as you're in a normal car. You just can't drive like that and think, well, here we go. And then you have the settings, and then you have the settings of your steering wheel, and then you have, you know, it's just it becomes a lot more into play than people think. And I think we've addressed it before. Try and explain to people that don't know the game, don't know the thing, and try to explain it. It's not just a game, because we like to have a competition like this. It's somewhat difficult for some people to understand.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, try it. Absolutely. That's what I would say equally as well. You know, just give it a go and try it. So it's certainly worth it. And you know, what have you got to lose ultimately at the end of the day? And it is good fun. And you know, league racing. All our drivers, I think, compete in more than one league, not just ourselves. And a big shout out to all the leagues who do racing, certainly on Xbox and across the platforms, on PlayStation, on PC. It is really growing, and obviously what we're looking to do is give you a representation, effectively, and of what, you know, try and be, let's say, as close production-wise as we can to the real world, but obviously different. And hopefully you can see that the benefits of actually watching esports and motorsport in particular. Yeah,
totally agree on that.
So we have been on board with Chris Knight. He has set a better time, 1:19.5. So that puts him relatively safely into that top 10. In the drop zone at the moment is Tony Foster. He is out on track. Cameron Widdowson, Adrian Rich and Jake Sorrell. Guido, I don't know about you, but this track looks like it's really drying up. I'm wondering if these guys are going to have to stay on the intermediates. Where's the option of going onto dry tyres?
They're probably going to go on the dry tyres now, will they? Won't they?
Oh,
I see somebody coming out. I see a Renault going out.
Yeah, Phil Harris is in the pits.
Adrian is going out in the intermediates.
Well, Phil Harris has got a set of mediums on at the moment. He's just waiting in the pits. Obviously, anybody that comes out on hard tyres is likely or more likely to set a faster run. There's only 3.5 minutes now remaining of this Q2 session.
Yeah, if you look at the tyres of Adrian Rich, he's driving in around the corners now. You see a little bit of spray still coming off there. So probably the feeling of the car is very slippery and slidey if you have it on slicks. Yeah,
I think it is still to Phil Harris is on. Ross Milburn has also gone on to the slick, so they're just waiting to see effectively what happens with regards to the weather. So everyone else is on those intermediate tyres. Let's have a quick look on here. So Ross Milburn is now in the drop zone, 120.5. Cameron Widdowson with a 120.8. Adrian Rich with a 121.3, and Jake Sorrell still in the pits. He's clearly got issues, so I doubt he'll be coming out at all. But Guido, I mean, obviously the drop at the moment is 1:19.7 set by Ryan Lear. It's going to be close. I was going to say, I mean, once we get to say 1:40, if they don't come out, I think that's pretty much it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're gonna make this very fast laps in the end, because it's still will be a bit moist and a bit damp.
The guys in the drop zone are still in the pits, so they don't look as if they're confident to actually come out and give it another run.
Okay, the Red Bull's coming
DRS
out.
has been enabled. So DRS has now been enabled. That's what they were waiting for, was the signal that the track is now dry enough
This could be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting indeed. Let's have a quick look now at those guys that are out and the tyres that they are on. So Dylan Platt has come out on a set of mediums. Josh Diggles as well. Ross Milburn, Phil Harris, Ryan Lear, Richard Williams and Adrian Rich. So they've all come out on the mediums, and on the softs is Jamie Good.
And Jake Sorrell was also on the softs.
Oh, and Jake Sorrell, yeah, he's coming out on the soft. So he has actually decided to opt in. Let's see what this is going to... this is really going to mix it up now, isn't it, Guido?
Yeah, this is a good... this is just the thing. These guys are really waiting until the DRS is unlocked, and then they'll come out. That's a great thing. That's what you want to see. That happens in the real queues as well. They're just waiting for that moment that they can take the last run and come out. Let's see what happens here. 50
seconds now remaining on the clock, and looks like Richard Williams is going to be one of the first men across. We got a yellow flag, sector 3. Don't know who
they're all slowing down. They're all slowing down. Oh yes,
for letting the other guys pass. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so Richard Williams about to set a fast lap. Let's go on board with him and see what he can do.
Only danger of going to qualify this late in the session is that when the AI takes over at the finish line, it will smash your car and you will not be able to participate in Q3.
Yeah, and that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's a glitch in the game.
Richard Williams certainly going for it at this moment in time. New driver to the league. His third race here.
Yeah, and as you doing a good job.
He is doing a good job, I've got to say. Coming around L'Épingle.
Yeah, that's a real tricky one. If you get that right, if you get the apex right, you're going to get a lot of speed out of it.
And you get quite a good buzz out of that corner when you get it right. But then the heart starts beating when you're coming down to the chicane.
There you go. Here we go.
I think it's actually been invalidated.
Yeah, invalidated.
Yeah. It's going to go again, but it's going to be tricky. So let's have a look. So Jake Sorrell sets the fastest time with a 1:12.1. Dylan Platt coming round now. Let's see what he can do. This is... going on there. He's just letting Phil Harris through, so that's it. No, that's it. So Jamie Good gets second with a 1:12.3. Dylan Platt gets third with a 1:17.7. Sean Street gets fourth with a 1:19.1. That was what he set on the intermediates. That means he will have a free choice, correct me if I'm wrong, on the start of the race then, Guido, won't he? Because he was on the intermediates in the top 10. As will Tony Foster and Ryan Doran. So because those guys are on the intermediates, they will have a free choice of tyre. The guys who've actually qualified now will have to start on those tyres. So Jake Sorrell and Jamie Good will be starting on the softs. Dylan Platt on the mediums. Josh Diggles, Ross Milburn, Phil Harris, Ryan Lear will be... sorry, not the Ryan Lear because he didn't get through, but certainly Phil Harris, Ross Milburn, Josh Diggles and Dylan Platt will be starting on the mediums. Chris Knight as well, he'll be starting on the soft. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So time was gained, but there was still not quite enough time for some of those guys to actually better their times by a lot. So Jake Sorrell, as we see there, 1:12.1, and you can see the difference there. 5 seconds to Dylan Platt on those intermediates. He will have a free choice of tyre, because he set it on the intermediates.
Yeah.
So all those guys, all the guys in the top 10 actually, they didn't better their time. They will be starting. They will have a free choice of tyre, but Jamie Good and Jake Sorrell, because they committed to that, they'll be starting on the softs. So starting in row 6, P11 will be Ryan Lear. So Ryan Lear will be in P11. In P12, I didn't catch that. We'll see that on the start there. And we'll catch up with those guys there when we start the processional lap. We're now into the Q3 session. Let's have a quick look. Yep, everybody on the softs, as would be expected. 12 minutes of this session. Looks like Phil Harris is getting pretty much ready. His driver, his mechanics getting ready to take his car out. Will he be the first man out? Looks like he is.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferrari.
If anyone jumps out ahead of him, yeah. There's Josh Diggles. So Josh Diggles gets out ahead of him. Well, he's a little bit further up the pit lane, so
exactly.
he managed to get out ahead. So Josh Diggles coming out. So he'll be the first man to set, hopefully, the fast lap. So in this top 10 shootout, we have Ross Milburn, Dylan Platt, Jake Sorrell, Phil Harris, Ryan Doran, Chris Knight, Jamie Good, Tony Foster, Josh Diggles and Sean Street. 2 McLarens, 2 Racing Points, 1 Ferrari, 1 Alfa Romeo, 1 Toro Rosso, 1 Red Bull. Who else have we got there? And 1 Haas. Yeah, Ryan Doran. I think that's it. Josh going
Josh
deep
Diggles.
turn 10 there. Let's Phil Harris through. That's an interesting one. So Phil Harris now leading the way. Josh clearly not happy with the temperature in his tyres, trying to get a bit more temp into them. So Phil Harris gets underway on his fast lap now. Let's see what he can do.
So we're going to see a lot of different times now than we did before in the other queues. And the fastest lap in the Q3 last season was Dylan Platt with a 1:08, a 2:98 on a dry session. So that was last season. We're still on board with Phil Harris. He's going up to, as Woods likes to say, l'épingle. There's the hairpin. And you got it. Yeah, he's got a good exit there. Going on the straight. Up to the final 2 corners where you got...
Guido, I think he's actually invalidated the lap.
Yes, he did. Yes, I'm seeing it now. The track shows red, so it's invalidated.
So Josh Diggles should be the next man across. And let's see what he does. No, he's invalidated as well. So both of those guys have invalidated their laps.
And we got Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo, who's got the first time, 1:08.9.
Good time from him, 1:08.9 from Chris Knight. Dylan Platt sets a 1:08.4.
1:08.4.
Wow. Jake Sorrell, 1:09.8. Ryan Doran, a 1:10.2.
Just saying that Dylan Platt, last season he did a 1:08.2. So he's 0.2 off.
Board with Ross Milburn should be next man, hopefully to set a time. As you said, a purple in the first sector for himself. Anyway, obviously that is a bit of a glitch, but he's going fast. Certainly, all the guys moving across there for him, letting him through. Let's see what he can do coming down to that turn 10.
Second. Phil Harris is second,
Phil Harris,
1:08.8.
yeah, 1:08.8 for Phil Harris. Good run though, gotta say. 0.4 off the back of Dylan. Clearly, Dylan likes the rain more than some looking at this, because that's very close between him and Phil Harris on those tyres.
Oh, Ross Milburn's going to set a good time.
Yeah, this looking good.
This is...
Oh, look at that. 1:09.1. Good run from him. Sean Streets is a 1:09.0. Chris Knight, 1:08.9. He's in the pits, as we know. Jake Sorrell, 1:09.8. Ryan Doran, 1:10.2. Jamie Good still in the pits. Tony Foster is coming out of the pits. Oh, no, sorry, into the pits. And Josh Diggles is in the pits. So those 3 drivers in the pits. Jamie Good is now coming out. So let's stay with Jamie Good on his lap.
Let's see what he can do. He's still on his outlet. Extremely good. I've got these yellow flags because everybody's holding off. Trying to make a little bit of room for him to go. See, Sean Street on the left side. He's waiting. Now he's going to go for his fast lap.
Let's see what he can do.
Pushing. And the thing is, if you overshoot this one in the beginning, this lap is invalidated, but also the next one is invalidated. So you don't want to have that.
Well, Dylan in the meantime set a 108.2. So he has considerably.
He was faster than last season.
Yeah.
100ths of a second.
Oh, power slide round there.
Yeah.
That was definite power slide round the Duarte Casino. Oh, sorry, not the Duarte Casino, the Pont de la Concorde. He's on the Duarte Casino now as he's coming down to turn 10, the hairpin.
Yeah.
Good exit on there, good entry and exit. Nice run there.
Not going to be the best of time because he obviously made that mistake. 110, 111 even.
111, yeah. Ooh. Not ideal, but let's see how that works for him. Tony Foster is on a fast lap now himself for McLaren, just coming to the end of sector 1. Let's see how his time looks.
He's doing another one.
There are only 4 minutes remaining, so this is when it's going to hot up now.
Ooh, that was close to the wall.
Yeah, everyone is on the softs.
Oh, that's invalidated.
Yeah. No, it's not. He's still okay. No, he's okay.
That is strange.
Let's see. It's looking good so far, I've got to say. I think he's going to be round about a 110.
Oh, what?
Yeah, 110.1. 110.1 there from Tony Foster. Puts him P8. Ryan Doran, he's done a 110.2. He's P9. Jamie Good, a 111 as we saw there. So he's currently in P10. So 3 minutes now remaining. Chris Knight is on an outlap. Let's see where he is. Sean Street is coming up ahead of it. Oh, he's on an outlap, so we'll follow Sean Street now as he is ahead of Chris Knight. Jump back to Chris Knight. They are the two that are currently out there at this moment in time. Sean Street obviously shown that he's more than capable in qualifying and indeed in racing, currently running third in the Drivers' Championship. So expect something good from him. Guido, who do you think is going to take pole and the win this week?
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be Dylan.
Yeah.
And I have to say that obviously Phil has the power to strike back, and I really...
Well, I'm going to go with Phil Harris for the pole, but I'm actually going to go with Sean Street for the win.
Yeah, that's a good one. I hope so. Just for the sake of the racing today, I hope it's going to be shaken up a bit in the front. You know, just get into it.
Anything can happen. I mean, we've seen both our front runners go out.
Yeah.
Last week, Phil Harris. Let's say, somewhat memorably, whichever way you want to look at it, Dylan in Australia. So, I mean, you know, the potential. I mean, you know. Obviously, you want to get on pole, but so much can happen during the race, and we're talking 70 laps. I mean, this is a hard race, 70 laps. I mean,
70 laps, very fast track. Yeah.
Sean Street sets a 108.7, so that puts him up into that P3 row 2 position, and Chris Knight is coming up now. Let's see what he can do. This is the man. If anyone can muck it up, this is going to be the man that's going to do it. All those front runners. Oh, he's not quite there, is he? No, he's not quite there. 1:12, up 3 seconds. Not what he was looking for at all. Ross Milburn is still in the pits. Dylan Platt is actually on an out lap now. Guido, can he go any faster, do you think? 1:08.2, he's already broken his record from last year. I've got the feeling he's probably got a little bit more left in him. But yeah. Phil Harris as well. I mean,
he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. He's really waiting. He's lining it up.
Yeah, he's definitely psyching himself up for this one, isn't he?
Going through all the gears. What's he doing? He's waiting for somebody? Oh, he's waiting for somebody. Josh Diggles.
Yeah, I think he was.
So Ross Milburn has already retired because he says I'm fine with this time, and he's right.
Yeah, 1:08.4. If he feels he can't better that, then discretion is the better part of valor. There's only 20 seconds remaining. So Josh Diggles is across the line. Dylan Platt will be across the line, and Phil Harris as well.
Yeah,
so keep our eye on those guys. We are on board with the Williams driver, Rocket Williams, Josh Diggles. And he's been moving his way up through the Drivers' Championship, currently P5 in the Drivers' Championship. Let's see what he can deliver here today. He's going to oust any of those guys in the front 2 rows. He's down 1/10 at this moment in time. Not going to help him too much. He needs to take out at least a couple of tenths, 3 tenths.
Oh, Phil invalidated.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah, Josh Diggles is invalidated. Phil Harris is invalidated. Dylan Platt is purple all the way round. Look at that. 1:07.659. Wow, what a fantastic run there from Dylan Platt. Absolutely sealing the deal there, didn't he, Guido?
Oh, that is a new record.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Look at that, Dylan Platt, 1:07.659. That is, what are we looking at? 6 tenths faster. In second place, Chris Knight. Great run from him, Chris Knight. 1:08.395. That puts him in first row, P2. Row 2, P3 will be Ross Milburn in the Racing Point. Alongside him will be the McLaren, Sean Street. Row 3, P5 will be Phil Harris in the Ferrari. Alongside him will be Josh Diggles in the Williams. That's going to be an interesting one. Row 4 will be Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point, and Tony Foster in the McLaren will be in P8. Row 5, P9, Ryan Doran in the Haas, doing another great run again for the Haas. And then P10 will be Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes.
Well, I wondered what would happen if Phil didn't invalidate that lap, because he was looking good. He was looking fast. He was looking
good. I was expecting somewhat of a better time for him, but there you go. So, Guido, we've got a few minutes before the drivers get underway. Obviously, Phil Harris starting in that 3rd row there. Bit unexpected.
Yeah. Well, that's the gamble, of course, what you do, huh? When you go and you take it to the last and you invalidate somewhere, you know, it's a possibility that you do invalidate and can't make the run.
Absolutely, and we see Josh Diggles is alongside him as well. That is, to me, that's going to be very interesting indeed with regards to those 2 guys sitting back there. It's going to be, they are going to be fighting it majorly between themselves. There's no 2 ways about it. Mm. Obviously, Sean Street is up there in the mix as well. And
yeah, as expected,
you know, that's good. As expected, really, I say.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think he's fast, you know. He's right in there. So it's but the thing is with these standings as it is now, you got basically three you got really the top field, the midfield, and as obviously with any race, but that they're really close to each other, and it's every time it's we wish for that there will be great fighting, and then we get it in frame, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick little point there. Obviously, a little bit difficult sometimes on the cameras to get all the action. We're only running one camera at this moment in time. We will be looking to run 2 cameras, hopefully for next week's race. So that will help us somewhat to keep on top of the action. But obviously we do attempt to do best we can. If you're watching for the first time, we hope you've enjoyed our qualifying session. I can assure you the race is going to be quite something, certainly with these F1 Tonight UK drivers. Great league and great speed as well, and good skills all across the board, really. So the guys are basically just getting themselves prepped up, loo breaks, drinks, because they're going to be sitting in here. What do you reckon on? It's going to be at least an hour and 20, isn't it? With safety cars, might even possibly run longer. And let's be fair,
safety car. It's going to be safety car in the first lap.
I suspect there's going to be probably more than one safety car, because that wall of champions will claim its victims. I am absolutely certain of that.
Definitely. Probably when they got a little bit a distance from each other, it will be fine because nobody's going to push it. But when it's going to start and when they're going to go in fighting and they're in the vicinity of the wall of champions, it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
And let's see who has the biggest melons. Basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is going to be it. I mean, danger points on the start of this race, turn 2, and it's without a doubt. But also that first sector, I wouldn't expect too much in problems maybe in turns 3 and 4, but we could see some sort of round 6 and 7 and really down to 8, 9 as well, because obviously there's quite a bit of clean air there, and it all depends on the setups, because some of these guys are going to be running higher downforce than others, and this is one of those tracks where you can see that reflected, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the difference is that, well, obviously you see when you have higher downforce, you will be slower on the straight. But I think this is such a technical track that you need a little bit more downforce to go faster through all the turns and the bends. And I think you can get more out of that than only the straight.
Yeah.
But having said that, it's all comes down to the what the people are. What the people want and how they want to drive and how they feel, how they can drive.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you go lower downforce, the car tends to be a little bit twitchy.
Some drivers though can handle that a lot better. I mean, some drivers quite like that loose feel, especially when you're going through that, like the first sector. Those turns 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. As you're coming out of the second sector into out of the first sector into the second sector. I mean, there are drivers that quite like that loose feel, and you can see that with some of them where you've got a little bit of let's say drifting going on. I mean, we saw that I think from Dylan as well, and I think Dylan masters that quite well actually. Yeah. So drivers are now readying up.
It comes down to what you like and how you like your car to behave, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dylan Platt leading the way. Chris Knight will be alongside him.
I'm missing the Ferrari.
We are missing a Ferrari. We'll come to that in a second. Yeah, we are actually. So Chris Knight is in P2. Ross Milburn in the racing points, he's in P3 row 2. Alongside him will be the McLaren of Sean Street. Row 3, P6 is Josh Diggles, and that's where we're missing that Ferrari, because it should be Phil Harris in P6 and Josh Diggles alongside him, but we've got Jake Sorrell, who's now alongside him in P7. Tony Foster is P8. P9 is the Haas of Ryan Doran. P10 is Jamie Good in the Toro Rosso. Pass of Ryan Lear is P11. P12 is the Toro Rosso of Richard Williams. P13 is Cameron Widdowson in Williams. 14 is Adrian Rich in the Renault. 15 is Matt Goodyear. Okay, interesting. 16 is Jack Wilson in the Renault. 17 is Thomas Cook. And 18 is Callum White. And where is he? He's not on the grid. Is he? I think he's actually on the grid. I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens on there. Obviously, Callum White did have a back start. I don't know if he's going to be starting from the pits, actually.
No.
No, he's not on the start-finish line, but he's in there. I'm not too sure what's happening there.
Oh, so, and I can see a ghosted car. Well, I think something's playing up again, but then again, it's the game. It is the game.
But let's see what we've got here. So the guys are now lining up for the start of this race. The lights are coming on, and we are off for the start of this F1 tonight. Canadian Grand Prix Season 2. And Dylan Platt leads the way, Chris Knight second, but a fight going on between Sean Street and Ross Milburn. Looks like Sean Street comes out, Ross Milburn, Jake Sorrell, his teammate, is now being overtaken by Josh Diggles. So Josh Diggles moving up into P5. Jake Sorrell's in 6th. Ryan Duran goes up to 7, 8 to 8. It was 8 stays Tony Foster. Jamie Good goes up to 9. 10 is Ryan Lear. Cameron Winston 11. 12 Richard Williams. And they all seem to get away okay. The only one that's lost out there is Ross Milburn to Sean Street for that P3 position. Dylan already starting to pull out from them. And Chris Knight, yeah, he's got Sean Street right up his tail now as they're coming down. So far, lap 1 looking okay. Oh, Chris Knight goes deep, giving Sean Street the opportunity to come back with him. He won't have the DRS. That won't be enabled on the first lap. It won't be until the 3rd lap, but he's keeping it nice and tight there. Ross Milburn dropping down a little bit further. Josh Diggles, he's overtaking Ross Milburn as they come down into the chicane. So he now moves up into P4, making that move stick. And he's going to be trying to track down Sean Street.
Oh, I see a wing. I see a wing flying off there on World of Champions. I cannot see who it was. I was in the back because obviously the camera that I used was in a little bit in the front. I just saw Matt Goodyear bump at the back of Jack Wilson. So he got into his gearbox, literally. Now I see blue flags. That is strange because it's lap 2.
Yeah. Well, the lights didn't sync either on the start there. So Sean Street now is bearing down still on Chris Knight. He's not getting off his tail. Just have a quick look and see what tyres these guys are on. So yeah, Sean Street is on the red wall tyre. Look at this, how close is he to the back here of that Alfa Romeo. Chris Knight trying to see if he can nudge him in a bit more. And good Sean Street there, gives him the space. Doesn't push him too hard, but look at this now on the exit. DRS will now be enabled for when they come round into that DRS out of turn 7.
Oh, look at that, Sean Street right next to him.
So good. This is so close, these two guys, side by side here. Total respect.
Oh, that's it.
That's really good driving.
The blue flag. That's something going on again with this tonight.
Oh, Chris goes too deep.
He goes too wide, yeah.
Into 6. He's got an advantage now out of 7. Sean Street. Josh Diggles just sitting in the background. Is he going to try and make a move on these guys? Slots in behind Chris Knight. Sean Street gets ahead. But now Josh Diggles is coming in. And he's trying to get on the inside. And Chris Knight is on the outside. This is the one we're going to see now around Lepang. Oh, contact between the Williams, I think. Not too sure, but no, it's okay. There's a bit of wall banging possibly. Bit of tank slapping going on. But But Sean Street stays ahead, gets up into that second place. Josh Diggles trying to come back at him as they come down into the chicane, 13-14. Thomas Cook
Chris
drops
Knight's
back.
in the pits. Chris Knight in the pits.
Dylan Platt is in the pits. I've got that. Oh, sorry, not Dylan Platt.
Chris
Sorry,
Knight.
Dylan Platt just did the fastest lap. Chris Knight is in the pits, yeah. And Richard Williams. Thomas Cook, Chris Knight, Jamie Good, Ryan Doran. I wonder if there was any contact between those guys. Let's have a quick look.
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, there was, definitely.
There was. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, they're all having nose changes, so clearly there was some contact at the back of the field there. Number of cars coming in. Chris Knight, Jamie Good, Ryan Doran, Cameron Widdowson. In the meantime, though, Josh Diggles is now losing time to Sean Street. They are both on the soft compound tyres. Dylan Platt is on the medium compound tyre, so he will be looking to go a little bit deeper into this race, as will Ross Milburn. I suspect that Ross Milburn, as long as he stays with his guys, if he doesn't take them on track, he will get that position back.
I just saw Matt Goodyear on the back sliding into the side of the wall there. He's not lost any wing, so...
No,
it was the back. Usually the back stays a bit.
Oh, right, it's the back,
okay.
Yeah. But Richard Williams looking to make the move on Jack Wilson as they're coming down to the chicane. And this is for PA, and he gets ahead of him. Lovely job there. Good line through the chicane there for Richard Williams. Jack Wilson slots in behind him, but you've got a real fight going on for P7, 8 and 9 here. Look at this. Oh, and in the background there.
Oh, Thomas Cook
he's lost it.
glitching.
Richard Williams has lost it. He's gone off. Jack Wilson gets his place back. Richard Williams does slot in behind him, but he's got Thomas Cook fighting with him there, and also the Mercedes of Matt Goodyear. Ooh, all going on there. Look at this, Thomas Cook, all these guys here, lying astern. There's some real hard fighting going on in this midfield at this moment in time, isn't there, Guido?
Yeah, looks good, and I'm surprised there is no safety car, because there were some things going on that were a bit questionable, I think. Not in terms of penalty-wise or something like that, but people hitting each other and wings flying everywhere. But hey, we're still driving. It's lap 6 of 70.
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Oh, look! Oh!
I saw
Thomas Cook made some real contact there. Has he damaged his front wing though? I'm not too sure. Can't really tell. Oh, and contact there between and the Toro Rosso makes a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Slides into the turn 2 and makes contact with Thomas Cook and Matt Goodyear, the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo, and drops him right back now behind Adrian Rich as well. Adrian Rich got through there. I don't know if there's any contact with Adrian Rich, but he just sort of lost it into turn 2 because he had that contact coming out of 1 and put him across the line there.
He doesn't look damaged, so Adrian's car is fine.
Yeah. Thomas Cook has lost his front right winglet. That's not good for him. Yeah, Jack Wilson is looking okay, but Thomas Cook definitely got damage.
Toro Rosso as well.
Matt Goodyear's got damage as well. Yeah, front right, he's taken out his winglets and the side wing as well. So he's going to have to be coming in. So both Matt Goodyear and Thomas Cook will be coming in. That will then release Adrian Rich. I don't think there's any damage on Adrian Rich's car. Let's have a look. No. There is no damage on that, so he will move up into P9. Jack Wilson, his teammate, is in P8.
5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
So Richard Williams gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in that pit lane. That time will be added on to his final time. Ryan Lear in the Haas is in P7. Tony Foster in the McLaren is up to P6. Jake Sorrell is in 5. His teammate Ross Milburn is in 4. And he's chasing down at this moment in time Josh Diggles, who's in P3 in that Williams. And Josh seems to have lost some pace.
Well, either that or something happened there. But look at Sean Street. As you were saying, as we were saying, he's a fast guy and he's P2 at the moment.
Well, I did say Sean Street for the win, and I've got to say, he's still looking good. I mean, I know Dylan's a hard man to beat, but I think there's every possibility. I'm just watching Ross Milburn and Josh Diggles in chicane, and Ross Milburn makes the move on Josh Diggles, gets ahead of him. And that's very interesting indeed, because Ross Milburn is actually on the medium compound tyre, and Josh Diggles is on the on the soft compound tyre. He's only done 7 laps on those tyres. This track is known not necessarily for tyre wear, but for brake wear, isn't it? Because it's really hard braking around this track.
Yeah, because it's such a fast track.
Yeah.
And and you see, I'm now looking at Josh Diggles. He takes a little bit of a different line than Ross Milburn does, and obviously setting it up for to overtake, but he doesn't have the ERS for it. His ERS is on 25%, as well as Josh's is. Ross's is at 72%. So he will probably not make it, not even on the long straight. Well, he does have DRS over here.
He does have DRS, but 6/10, I don't know. I just don't think it's enough to close down that gap, as you say. You know, Ross Milburn's got plenty of ERS, which is undoubtedly he's released for that straight. And that's where he's winning out, is his ERS management, I think.
Yeah. Well, at least at this moment in time, and obviously they're on different tires. Look at this, they're going very close, very, very close. But now he's taking a bit of distance again. And you would expect that Josh will be faster.
Ross Milburn just picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting.
There you go. That's gonna, yeah, well, that's one of those places you're gonna get, as we call it, pingles.
Yeah.
Pingles.
3-second penalty as well for Jamie Good. And again, when you see these 3-second penalties, these are not penalties that the guys will suffer, say, for qualifying position next week. This is time that is actually added on to their final race time. The impact it has is on their position at the end of the race. So if the guy behind them is 3 seconds behind them and he's got no penalties and they have, that means that they lose that position. And we've already seen how that can affect the podium.
Yeah, because if we got drivers that accumulate 24 seconds tyre penalties. 24 seconds. That's huge.
That is huge.
And if you drive penalty free and you're within that range, they can go over the line, but they just don't win it. Yeah. And that's why you want to have that's why you want to try to drive as clean as possible.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you on that one, Guido. Well, Josh Diggles is still in there with Ross Milburn. I guess he's just waiting for him to make a mistake, but the question is, how deep are these guys on the soft compound tyres going to run? Obviously, they didn't do any qualifying on these. The only guys that actually did qualifying was Thomas Cook and who was the other one?
Let me see.
Jake Sorrell, I think it was. So they're the guys that have got more wear on their tyres. Obviously, Josh Diggles, he had a fresh set of soft tyres, as did Sean Street. So I would suspect they're probably going to be able to go to around about 15, 16 laps on those.
Yeah, I agree on that.
But let's have a quick run through our drivers, and let's actually go in reverse order. So Callum White, I've still got him. He's I don't get this. He's showing us racing, but he's in P17, and all I'm getting is the pit. So I'm not too sure what's happening on that one. That's going to be an interesting one. Matt Goodyear for Mercedes is currently running P16. In P15 is Cameron Widdowson in the Williams. In P14 is Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso. 13 is Ryan Doran in the Haas. In 12 is Jamie Good in the Toro Rosso. In 11 is Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo. In 10 is his teammate Chris Knight, so they're occupying 10 and 11 at this moment in time. In 9 is Adrian Rich for Renault, and his teammate is ahead of him as well, actually. So Jack Wilson, that's interesting. Both teams taking that place there. And in P7, we have Ryan Lear in the Haas. And again, Ryan doing a good job as his teammate did last week. Both the Haas's, actually, I've got to say, performing really, really well. He does have Jack Wilson on his tail at this moment in time. Let's see how that pans out. But Jack Wilson, 3/10 off the back of him. Doesn't seem to be making too much. Oh, he's looking to try and get a little sneaky peek in there, but he can't. Not going to be so easy. Tony Foster in the McLaren, he's loving this. He's up in P6. Jake Soul in the Racing Point is in P5. Josh Diggles, great sort of spurt at the beginning of this race, but he's now dropped down to P4. Ross Milburn in the Racing Point is in P3. Sean Street, we haven't seen much of that guy, but there he is. He's in that P2 position. Say we haven't seen much of him because they're sort of out of the way and contending with their own race. He's 9.5 seconds, though, off our current race leader. Dylan Platt, I mean, lap 12, Dylan Platt already nearly 10 seconds ahead of P2.
10 seconds, yeah, it's unbelievable. Already on lap 12, 10 seconds ahead. That's great, and he's got the medium tires as well.
Yeah.
So he's already known for his tire management. I think we say that basically every race.
Yeah.
But it is exceptional what he's showing here, and it's just too bad that Phil isn't here just to contest him, because I think Sean Street, Phil Harris, these are the guys that really can push him to the limit. And sometimes, well, you see it in the end. He makes a little bit of a mistake, hits the wall. Last time he got a puncture, and it could make things interesting. But then again, if you're leading with these kinds of numbers, then well, you deserve to lead like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's definitely putting up a great run here. There's no two ways about it. So Dylan Platt obviously is our race leader at this moment in time. But yeah, it's certainly looking good, I've got to say, for him. There's no two ways about it. That Sean Street, although he's 10 seconds behind, I am surprised though, because I mean, he is on the soft compound tyre, but there he is. That's how it runs at this moment in time. We have no idea what happened to Phil Harris, and it's unfortunate because these are points that Phil can't afford to lose, can he?
No, he can't. It's really it's Red Bull versus Ferrari at this time, and in the standings anyway. Obviously we're still in the beginning of the season, so there could be some changes there. But it's things like this. If you have one driver that's out, and now the second driver is out, you will not get. You're not going to get these points.
Yeah. Just heard from Phil Harris, I believe, that actually, unfortunately, his system shut down. So he was just at the wrong time. I mean, that is just really, really bad luck. So yeah, I feel sorry for you there, Phil. But yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. Not an awful lot we can do about that. Technical issue. But hopefully he will have that resolved and be back, because I'm sure he's going to be fighting it out with Dylan in this championship. I don't think all is lost. We're still early days. It's only round 7 of 21, so we're only a third of the way through, effectively, at the end of this race, Guido.
Time to get a drink.
So we are on lap 15 of 70. This is F1 Tonight UK, and this is season 2, round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. We are on board at this moment in time with our race leader Dylan Platt for Red Bull. In second is Sean Street for McLaren. Great run from Sean. Put in some really good fighting earlier on, working his way through Josh Diggles, Ross Milburn, etc. And yeah, very happy indeed, I'm sure he is at this moment in time. Ross Milburn is in P3 in the Racing Point. Good start from him, but he's going to be pushing as much as he can. We can already see that there's a bit of separation happening. Josh Diggles in the Rocket Williams, he's in P4. And in P5 is now Tony Foster. I've got to say, Guido, good race for McLaren, and it's great to see Tony Foster up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's a McLaren track. They're proving it right now. No, but it's just a little bit fun, you know. And this is what you want. You want to accumulate as much points as possible, and that's where you need your teammate to come in as well. And Sean Street, to be fair, he's driving a wicked race right now. Just let's see what happens when the back markers start coming. And
sorry, I was just watching there. Jack Wilson made the move on Ryan Lear, but that was an invalidated move, and he's actually just given that place back on the start-finish straight. So fair play to Jack Wilson there.
Nice.
Lets him through. His teammate Adrian Rich is in P7. Lets Ryan Lear through, and I think he just cut the chicane, to be fair, which is why he got ahead of Ryan Lear. But he immediately gave the place back. So yeah, always difficult. Always difficult. We've seen a lot of contention on this track in the real world, let alone in the sim world.
Yeah, that's. I can't believe how you must feel when you're going. Obviously, going with maximum speed. Josh
Diggles making the move on Adrian Rich as they're coming down to turn 8-9, the casino. So that was on the DRS straight. Josh Diggles getting past Adrian Rich, moving now up into P7. And we can see Jake Sorrell as well bearing down on the back of the Renault now as they come out of turn 11 on the casino straight, heading down towards the chicane. Now, Sean Street is on 16-lap old softs. We can see that Josh Diggles has come in because he's gone on to a fresh set of medium, so he only went 15 laps. Sean Street is opting to stay out on those soft tyres, and he gets past, Adrian out of turn 1 into turn 2. Nice, clean move there. So Adrian Rich drops down into 9, Jake Sorrell moves up into 8.
It's looking like Adrian is driving his own race again. He's doing his own thing, letting people pass. And, you know, he knows that Jake Sorrell is a faster guy, so there's no point in contesting that.
It's interesting to see how the strategy is all so important, as we know, in the real world F1, obviously, and as I've indicated before, you know, these guys don't have a team behind them for their strategy. So you've got to not only be the driver, but the strategist as well, and be aware of what's happening on the track and around you, and, you know, what's the best way to go.
Yeah, generally during the week when you train, at least let me speak for myself and for my team, when we train, and we don't train every day, nothing like that, but when you talk to each other and say what's the best strategy, how are we going to do it, how are we going to try it, and that's basically the thing that we do, what you aim for. But having said that, safety cars, damage, traffic, anything can make the game change. So it's obviously a little bit of a blueprint what you take, but if it works out, then you can use it as a blueprint. But it usually doesn't work out the way you want it.
Yeah, because obviously you don't know what the conditions are going to be. You're going to go for optimum conditions every time, and that's not always necessarily the case. We are on board at this moment in time, Guido, with Jack Wilson on Ryan Lear again.
Yeah,
so he's come back on him, and he's going to see if he can make the move down into La Pangla, turn 10. They're side by side as they're coming down there. Advantage does go to the Haas on the inside.
Yeah, good one. But now he's got the DRS.
He's got the DRS, so what's he going to do now? He's going to look to make that move. He's on alongside him. He should be able to make this stick as they come down into the chicane. But again, the advantage. Oh no, and the Haas just slides in behind. Yeah, discretion better part of valor there.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah, so Ryan Lear decides, okay, yeah, fair enough. You got me. I'll slot in behind you. I can always come back from that.
Josh Diggles hit the Wall of Champions. He's got his right wing end plate. He's lost that.
Yeah, he has. And that's unfortunate because he's going to have to go the whole lap, and Jack Wilson picking up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Yeah, that's not good for Diggles, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
He's going to have to pit again. He clearly can't stay out with that, and you can see how it's affecting his cornering ability there. So he's going to have to come in That is not good for him because he's only just got onto a fresh set of medium tyres.
Yeah, I don't think it's not just his wing end plate. He's lost his right side of the wing.
Let's have a look. If he's lost all the winglets, I've only got
he
the...
has.
He has, yeah. So he's definitely going to have to come in. So Josh Diggles, Rocket Williams, definitely going to have to come in now. Jake Sorrell gets ahead of him. Exactly, Jake Sorrell moves up into P7 in that racing point. And now the question is what Diggles is going to go on. I'd suspect he might go on to a set of hard compound tyres. He was on the mediums.
Finishing the race.
Adrian Rich gets past him, obviously moves up back up to P9. Chris Knight into 10. Diggles is getting a new nose, and he is going on to the hard compound tyres, as I suspected. No, he's not. He's going on to a fresh set of mediums. Okay, sorry, it looked like it was hard. Yeah, it's mediums he's gone on to. No, it's hards. No, it's mediums, sorry. I'm looking at Jamie Good. Yeah, so he has gone on to the set of mediums. Okay, right, interesting. Let's see how that pans out for him. He comes out in P13, only just ahead of Ryan Doran. Ryan Doran is actually running on the hard compound tyres, so he's clearly looking to go a bit deeper. Okay, so we've seen the guys come in off those softs, and Sean Street came off at the end of 16, so he did 17 laps on those. Mediums, Guido, if they've done 17 laps, they should be able to go to sort of mid to high 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably push. I mean, somebody like Dylan might be able to push it into maybe the low 30s, as he's had pretty much a clear track, really, hasn't he? So he won't have any degradation from, you know, dirty air or anything like that.
I think it's well, if you've used the medium tires on Q2, and obviously they didn't, but then you can drive for about 25 laps, and I don't know what Dylan can do. He probably will push it to maybe even 30, 32.
I'm wondering if he's not looking to go onto a medium hard stint, to be honest with you, Guido. I mean, maybe these guys, again, that are on the mediums, maybe that's what they're looking at, with a possibility if anything goes wrong, they can throw in a soft. Because Tony Foster, look at this. I mean, Tony Foster's now moved up into that P3 position with all the pits that have happened from the guys ahead on those soft compound tyres. And he's got a good lead as well on most of them. I don't know what the pit stop window is here, but I would suspect it's probably going to be around about 21 seconds. So it's a fast entry but a slow exit.
It's fast entry, yeah, exactly. I see Sean Street has done one stop already.
Yeah, that was early on.
So that's,
that was early on. Well, not early on, he's only just done it, sorry, a few laps ago, because he's gone on to a set of mediums. So he was on the soft compound tyres, so that's what I was saying. He came in at the end of lap 16, so lap 17 effectively, or 18 it was.
But still, when Dylan comes in, he will still come out behind, in front of
comfortable lead. He's got 31 seconds at the moment on Sean Street, so he'll be able to pit and come out and stay ahead of that second place Sean Street at this moment. But McLaren occupying second and third. Jack Wilson in the Renault is in P4. Ryan Lear in the Haas is in P5. And
so Jake
Ross
Sorrell's
Milburn,
making a fight, P8.
Yeah, Jake Sorrell looking to try and make the move on Thomas Cook. He's on a much older set of medium tyres, 15 laps as opposed to 9 laps. On Jake Sorrell's. Gets alongside him. Should be fairly straightforward now. Yeah, slots in behind him.
Blocks a bit.
Thomas Cook gets a 3-second time penalty for that for cutting the corners there on that chicane. So he's not going to be too happy with that. Another 3 seconds on his final time.
Thomas Cook. He's got 3 penalties already.
Yeah, he has. So I'm saying he's got quite a few. So let's have a quick look down here. So Thomas Cook's still trying to fight back, but equally Jake Sorrell is on the back of Ryan Lear. So we're looking at another fight again for that midfield 6, 7, and gets past him, gets alongside him. Oh, just makes contact with the rear wheel, and then he makes contact with Thomas Cook behind. Oh, dearie me, and we actually caught that beautifully. Not very often you get the rear view camera, but it caught that. So that was rather unfortunate there. Ryan Lear just making a little bit of contact, pushes his back end out slightly, and Thomas Cook going in the back of it and sustaining damage to his front wing. Yeah, he's having to come in. He is indeed coming in, Thomas Cook. So let's see what happens to him, because Thomas Cook, 16-lap-old mediums, he's not going to be happy. Is he going to go onto the hard compound tyres, or is he going to go onto soft? This is a real tough call to call now.
Yeah, it's hard. As it shows now, oh, he's serving a penalty.
He is serving a penalty. New nose going on there, and it's a new set of mediums going on.
This looks weird.
Oh no, it's hards. He has gone onto the hards. Yeah, he has gone onto the hards. So Thomas Cook has indeed gone onto the hard compound tyres. So let's run through our runners and riders in a reverse order. So Cameron Widdowson in the Rocket Williams, he's currently in P16. In P15 is Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso. P14 we have Ryan Doran in the Haas. P13 is Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes. P12 is Thomas Cook after coming in after that damage that he sustained. So he's going to be trying to get up to Jamie Good as quickly as he can. Jamie Good at this moment in time in the Toro Rosso is in P11.
Ross Milburn's going into the pits.
Josh Diggles, he's in P10, and Josh Diggles, with that contact that he had, hasn't worked out well for him. He's come out in P10 and he's 17 seconds off the back of Ross Milburn, and this is not really where he wanted to be, but let's see what happens on the next set of pit stops. So Ross Milburn's actually come into the pit, so he's going on to set soft, so he drops down to 10. That pushes Josh Diggles to 9. Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo is in 8. In P7 is the Adrian Rich in the Renault. In P6 is Ryan Lear in the Haas. And Jack Wilson in the Renault is in P5. So Ryan Lear in a bit of a Renault sandwich, so to speak. Tony Foster, he's dropped down a little bit, but he's still in that P4 position. Jake Sorrell got ahead of him in the Rocket Williams. He's moved up to 3. Sean Street is still in 2.
Tony Foster going into the pits.
Dylan Platt is our race leader at this moment in time. Tony Foster coming in off those medium compound tyres. 24 laps. We said they'd probably go to medium. I think they might push them a little bit higher.
Thomas Cook's just behind Jamie Good making a move, and he makes it stick on the left side.
Yep, so he's got past him into the chicane. So Thomas Cook now moving up into P11. And Dylan Platt is in the pits. He's come off those mediums, he's gone to another set of mediums. So he did go the 25 laps on those medium compound tyres. Now he's onto a fresh set of mediums. 31 seconds was the gap between him and Sean Street. "13 seconds now." Oh, 11 seconds. So yeah, it's about 20 seconds, the pit stop, with no nose or anything else changed. So just straight tyre change, about 20 seconds. Sean Street is there, but another 25 laps. I'm just trying to work this out, actually. I think Dylan could well be going to a medium to a soft, so going another 25, maybe more laps on these medium tyres, and then going for a red wall soft finish, I think.
Yeah, Sean Street has got 1 penalty, and Dylan has got 3 warnings. I think Sean has another 3 warnings as well, so potentially he's going to get just make one more mistake and he's going to get 2 penalties. So he's going to push
but
himself
equally,
back
Dylan Platt
even
is on the
more.
edge as well of making a penalty. So let's see.
Exactly.
Jake Sorrell, he's in that P3 position. He's 18 seconds at the moment behind P2 Sean Street. Chris Knight, he's in 4. He's on those hard compound tyres. Haven't worked out too badly for him because he's obviously jumped up ahead of everybody else that's been pitting. He is going somewhat slower, and he's got Adrian Rich starting to bear down on him in the Renault now.
Yeah, Adrian is doing his thing, just as we said.
Yeah.
He's driving, but he also has to pit, so he's on 26
He's on 26 lap on mediums, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's going to pit now, but I suspect he might do, actually, looking at that, yeah.
Yeah, well, depends on how I feel. He's driving a solid race. Oh, he's staying out. And he's not really going. No, he drives 115s. Well, the last lap was almost a 116, so he got up a little slower, but the lap before that was a 115.1. So
yeah.
Speed-wise, he doesn't really have to pit, but then it all comes down to what he feels.
3-second time penalty. So Tony Foster's now down to 6 after those after his pit stop. Still very strong place. He's got Josh Diggles behind him now. So Josh Diggles now in P7 and he's challenging Tony Foster, and Jack Wilson's in behind them. So again, another fight we're seeing. Oh no! That did not work. So Josh Diggles trying to make the move, but Tony Foster saying, no, I'm sorry, you're just not coming through. I'm not giving you the space. I'm not going to make it easy for you. And absolutely valid there. Tony Foster really putting up a great fight here. He's now got Jack Wilson looking to make the move at him. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Tony Foster slides in behind. Jack Wilson clearly got the faster straight line speed there. So slides in behind him, moves down into P7. Josh Diggles is in P8, and he's got Ross Milburn bearing down on him. So these guys very used to competing against one another. I suspect that Ross Milburn's going to be closing down rather quickly because he's on a nice fresh set of soft compound tyres, isn't he, Guido?
Yeah, he is. His tyres are 4 laps old, so he probably will be catching up to them.
Sorry, Thomas Cook, I'm watching now because he's bearing down on Ryan Lear in the Haas. He's on those hard compound tyres, and Ryan Lear on a fresh set of mediums, so interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, you keep your eye on that. I'm on Ryan Doran. He's
oh, Jack Wilson, sorry, just made a move on Adrian Rich. Yeah, and I think that was agreed, so he makes a move on his teammate, Jack Wilson. So Adrian Rich drops down to 6, Jack Wilson takes that place 5, Tony Foster's in 7, Josh Diggles is in 8. He's still 2 seconds off the back.
Richard Williams goes a bit wide. Ryan Doran is just behind him. He's going to try and make the move. But he was...
Yeah, Richard Williams closes the door on him. Let's see what they do down into turn 10. Not a great exit there from the Haas.
He misses the side, the wing end plate.
Original fastest lap there from Dylan Platt at 1:11. Ryan Lear picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's pushing to try and get that place back from Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook takes that place from him. Josh Diggles has been overtaken by Ross Milburn, as I suspected he would be. And Ross Milburn is now trying to get on the back of that McLaren of Tony Foster, who's on the back of... and who's that there? Was that was the other? It's Cameron Widdowson, yeah, he went out, turn 10.
What's he doing?
He just spun out, turn 10, he went too deep, missed his braking point.
He's slowing down. Has he got a flat tyre?
Yes, he has. Yeah, he's got a flat tyre. Rear left.
Punch on the left. Yeah.
He's got a punch on the rear left. That's why he's going so slow. So Cameron Widdowson gets a flat. Dylan Platt does pick up a 3-second time penalty. That's his first one. Ross Milburn picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. He did get ahead of Josh Diggles and also ahead of the Renault of Adrian Rich. He is now, as I said, bearing down on the back of Tony Foster in that McLaren in P6.
Josh Diggles is making a move on Adrian.
Yeah. Gets ahead. Josh Diggles now moving up into P8. And he's lost his end plate again.
Who did?
Josh Diggles, if you look, he's got no end plate on the front left. Don't think he's too concerned about it. No, I don't think he's going to come in on this. I think he's come in too many times. I don't think he's going to want to come in on this one. He obviously feels he can still manage it. It's only the end plate. He's still got the wings on there.
Yeah, Adrian's come in with 30 laps on
30 laps on those mediums.
That's good.
That is a good run.
Going back on mediums again.
And Chris Knight, he's up in P5. He's doing well on those hard compound tyres. I was quite impressed with Chris on those ones. And it served him well because he was right down the back of the field, fell right down, went onto those hard compound tyres. I've got to say, and that seems to have been a good shout from him there. Jack Wilson is in 4 for Renault. Good, strong position for him there. Tony Foster still in 6. Ross Milburn is behind him, not being able to close down a great deal to him. He's now on 7 laps on those soft compound tyres. I'm wondering if he's reaching his sort of tyre midlife crisis point that you get on the softs, where they sort of seem to lose and then sort of come back again.
Is that how you call it, yeah? Midlife crisis point?
Midlife crisis on the softs.
Can you explain that to me? I think he has a Porsche at home.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, it's when your keyring turns to a Porsche or a Ferrari keyring.
Yeah, or a Harley.
Or a Harley, yeah, that's true. So, Ross Milburn, as I say, closing down on Tony Foster, but he closes him on the corners, but loses him once the power opens up. So, but equally, Tony Foster's now being held up because he's got Chris Knight ahead of him. So Tony Foster looking to try and see if he can make the move on Chris Knight, who I said was doing great guns on those hard compound tyres in that P5 position. So we've got a fight going here again, Guido, for 5s and 6.
Yeah,
very close indeed. Tony really trying to find every angle he can, try and get past. Oh, look at this, 3 abreast as they're coming down to Lapang. Oh, and Ross Milburn just gets his nose ahead. What a move! What a move! That was an inspired move there from Ross Milburn.
A little bit of a love tap on the tyre.
All looking good. So Ross Milburn takes that P5 place. Tony Foster remains in 6, and Chris Knight is now in P7. He's lost 2 places on that move. What a shame. What a shame. But he's going to be doing his own thing, and Thomas Cook, his teammate, just picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is rather unfortunate. Matt Goodyear looks like he's closing down on the Toro Rosso of Richard Williams as they're coming round 10. He's going to have DRS on him. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? They're on the casino straight. As they're tearing down towards chicane. Yep, Matt Goodyear gets his nose ahead. Goes in there, Matt Goodyear moves up into 14. Richard Williams drops to 15. Ryan Doran in the Haas is 13. Adrian Rich in the Renault is 12, but he's just come out on a fresh set of mediums. Jamie Good, 30 laps in P11 on those hard compound tyres. Ryan Lear is in 10. Thomas Cook on the hard compound tyres in... It's going to be interesting. Only 35 laps remain. We have now reached the halfway point, Guido.
Oh, Tony Foster making a move.
And he does it! Lovely job!
Oh, you wanted to close the door there, but he was in front of Ross Milburn, so it was a legal move, at least.
Yeah.
It's just what I saw, what I think.
That's what it looked like. Certainly he was moving
what
away.
It looked like.
I mean, Tony Foster gets ahead of Ross Milburn. Ross Milburn now in 6, and he's got Chris Knight bearing down behind him. And you've got Josh Diggles getting into the mix as well now, and Thomas Cook. So they're all 4 cars there, battling it out for 6, 7 and 8. Josh Diggles gets ahead of Chris Knight. Chris Knight trying to come back. Thomas Cook trying to come. Both the Alfa Romeos trying to fight back. Side by side as they come through. And Chris Knight gets ahead of his teammate Thomas Cook. But now he's going to try and see if he can get him down into turn 10. So while the Alphas are fighting between themselves, the Rocket Williams is starting to pull away from them. So Josh Diggles up into P7, Ross Milburn is 6th, Tony Foster gets up into 5th place, making that move on Ross Milburn. Jack Wilson is in 4, Jake Sorrell is in 3, Sean Street is in 2, and Dylan Platt obviously leading the way. Aaron Winston picking up a 3-second time penalty.
I'm going to check some penalties.
This is looking really strong, I've got to say, Guido, team-wise for McLaren and Racing Point at this moment on the halfway point, isn't it?
Yeah, good one, good one. Yeah, this is just what we said. Huh? You have to rely on your teammate to come in there to get the double points, and this is what they're doing. Tony Foster's hanging on there and it's coming in. Well, I have to say, Jack Wilson is driving is also very good. And Adrian's P11. So if Adrian gets up a little bit more, you got them in the double points as well.
Yeah, well, Jack Wilson started in P16, so he's actually up 12 places. So great run from him, I've got to say. Tony Foster, he's up 3 because he did start in 8. So again, good run from him. Certainly from his form, he always tends to be in the midfield, but he's really battling out. Clearly, Canada. This this Gilles Villeneuve circuit. Sorry.
That's what we said before.
This Gilles Villeneuve circuit, obviously working for him.
Jacques and
Gilles went up the hill, and then they made a racetrack.
What was that? We got Dylan Platt.
Actually, I got a better one. A better one. Jacques and Gilles went to the hill and made a racetrack.
Yeah, and then in Dutch we say Jacques and Gilles, they have a very small peel, but that's something else. Dylan Platt has a penalty. He's got one penalty.
He's got one penalty, yeah.
Sean Street has one as well.
Thomas Cook's done well. I've got to say, he started in P17, up 10 places as well. Remember, we said he was starting at the back there because he served the penalty for non-compliance of supplying his start clip. But he's got up into P7, so that's looking strong for him as well. Chris Knight's down 10. Yeah, it's pretty even at this moment in time, to be fair.
Sorrell has 2 penalties. Jack Wilson has... Ooh, that's a little bit more.
Ross Milburn closing down on Tony Foster again. He's not letting him go. But equally, Josh Diggles is now bearing down on Thomas Cook as they're coming down to the chicane. Thomas Cook defending his line stalwartly there. Really, really not giving Diggles much of an opportunity. They're side by side. As they're coming into turn 1, Diggles gets his nose ahead. Only just. Coming round turn 2. I'm sure Thomas Cook's going to try and come back to him. Oh, 5-second penalty for ignoring a blue flag from Josh Diggles there. Okay, so Josh Diggles gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring a blue flag. Who's he got behind him? Dylan Platt, that's why. He's got Dylan Platt behind him.
Wow.
Thomas Cook moving over. Josh Diggles now is looking to lap that P7 place. Not unknown, obviously, here at this Gilles Villeneuve circuit for lapping back markers. And,
I've got a question from the viewers about the weather.
Yeah.
Is it going to be dry all the way?
We are expecting the possibility of light rain 90% of the way through this race.
All right, that's for Terry Cool. He's asked a question. And,
that's the answer, Terry.
In the end, I hope it's gonna rain. Really
well,
hard.
if it does, I mean, that means it's probably going to start raining round about lap 62, 63. That's on the prediction that I had earlier. It could come a little bit earlier. It could come a little bit later. It might not come at all. So that's how it's looking at this moment in time. We are on lap 40 of 70, 30 laps remaining here for this F1 Tonight UK. Season 2, round 7 here at the Canadian Grand Prix at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, or the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, whichever way around you want to say it. Just off Montreal in the Quebec Principality district. No, it's not even a district, is it? State? No, it's not a state. Region, Quebec region. That's it.
It's the Canadians. I don't know what they are, basically.
Yeah, it's all okay, eh?
It's the Canadian. Oh, we have a Canadian photographer.
We do have a Canadian photographer. He's actually going to be on his home turf for this race. Let's see. Oh, Ross Milburn is closing in. Still on the back of Tony Foster, but he's staying within DRS range, but he's just not able to get past him at this moment in time. Tony is really holding his line there, I've got to say. Very impressive.
Josh Diggles is, yeah. He's pushing.
He's trying to push onto Thomas Cook as much as he can. He's ducking and diving, weaving, and trying to wrong foot Thomas Cook, but not able to do it at this moment in time.
Thomas defending on the right side. Ooh! Oh,
just squeezed through there.
Cheeky.
That was definitely cheeky, but he got ahead. Josh Diggles moves up into P7, and this is going to help him because he's going to be able to close down on Ross Milburn. And Ross Milburn's dropped back somewhat now from Tony Foster. He's 2 seconds behind. He's got 15 laps. He's going to have to come in, go on to a fresh set of tyres, I think. Those softs are going.
Oh, yeah. Josh Diggles hit him in the back. He's got a 3-second tyre penalty for multiple warnings, but he also hit him in the back. Because Thomas Cook was trying to stay out of the wall and I had to back off a bit.
No further damage that I can see to Diggles other than the existing damage he had on the end plate.
Tony Foster
picks up a 3-second time penalty as well for cutting corner. I'm just trying to see if I can see that front wing of Josh Diggles. Has he lost both end plates now? I think he has, actually.
It's the wrong view. I can't see now.
Yeah, he has. He's actually lost both end plates. Josh Diggles has now evened up his front wing and lost the right end plate.
So he should be tied around the corners again.
Well, he should be okay. Yeah, it's evened up. Let's see what he does. He's 2 seconds behind Thomas Cook at this moment in time. So he's dropped a little bit behind him. Now, Guido, I'm just trying to sort of work out, obviously, those hard compound tyres. We've got Jamie Good on 37 laps at this moment in time on those hard compound tyres.
Wow.
It hasn't really worked for him. It was sort of working for him earlier on, but on this second stint, it doesn't seem to be working for him now.
No, he has to come in. I think he has to come in and get a set of mediums and then finish the race on that.
Do you reckon he can stretch it another 7 or 8 laps and maybe go on to the softs? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, not speed-wise.
I mean, he is staying out, but he's just losing so much time at the moment. So he does actually move up because Josh Diggles has come into the pits. So Josh Diggles has come into the pits and come out with a new nose. I think that's the third one.
I have to say his last lap was faster than... he's doing pretty well, actually. He's basically very consistent on a 1:14.8.
Thomas Cook's
last 2 laps.
Front wing damage as well on front left. Yeah, he is being consistent, certainly Diggles, but...
so consistency-wise, he doesn't have to go in because if the tire feels the same, and if it feels good, then you don't have to come in. If you start losing big amounts of time, then it's the time to come in.
He's decided to come in with 26 laps remaining and go onto a scrub tyre of mediums. Did he come in? Because he's got 4-lap-old mediums on. Yeah, he did come in. Yeah, I did. So he's actually got a scrubbed set of mediums.
Oh no!
So they've got 4 laps on them, and there's actually 26 laps remaining.
That's weird because it just now, as soon as you said that, it jumped. My list jumped to one stop. That was really weird. But then again, must be a glitch.
Well, nothing unusual with code messers. Sorry, codemasters. Messers. Oh, I don't know. Whichever.
Messers.
Cold messers. So, Ross Milburn is currently in P6. And he's 5/10 off the back of Jack Wilson. And Jack Wilson is now the buffer between him and Tony Foster. Tony Foster moving up into P4. I mean, Tony Foster's loving this track. He made the move on Ross Milburn. He's made the move on Jack Wilson. He's now got up to P4. He's on 17 lap old mediums. We know he can go at least another, 12 laps on those. That put him up into 56, and then he can go on to a nice set of softs. This is looking rather nice. I've got to say, looking very, very nice indeed. And Sean Street, his teammate, is in that P2 position. What more could McLaren want? Dylan Platt obviously still leading the way. And what I'm doing, actually, let's do a quick reverse order of the runners and riders. So Cameron Widdowson for Williams is in P16. In P15 is Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso. In P14 is Ryan Doran in the Haas. In P13 is Matt Goodyear in the Mercedes. In P12 is Jamie Good in the Toro Rosso. In P11 is Josh Jiggles in the Rocket Williams. P10 is Adrian Rich in the Renault. P9 is Chris Knight in the Alfa Romeo. P9 is Chris Knight, yeah. P8 is Ryan Lear in the Haas. P7 is Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point. P6 is Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo. P5 is Ross Milburn just coming into the pits off 19 lap old softs. Okay, so he's got 24 laps remaining. He's going to go on to a set of mediums, I'm absolutely sure. Let's have a look on that. Yeah, he is. So he's going to be finishing on a set of mediums. That's Ross Milburn. He's now dropped down to P8. Jack Wilson in the Renault. What a great race from Jack Wilson. He's in P4. P3 is, as we said, with that pit stop, obviously, is now Tony Foster for McLaren.
Well, Jake Sorrell making a move, P6. Thomas Cook again.
Yeah, he's looking to make a move. He's on a nice fresh set of soft tyres, that's why. And saying Tony Foster was in P3, Sean Street is in P2. And leading the way still from start to finish is Dylan Platt. Great run from him, got to say. And Chris Knight makes the move on Ross Milburn, interestingly.
Check P6.
Yeah, Thomas Cook
he's got him.
Gets overtaken by Jake Sorrell as they're coming out of the casino straight into the chicane. So it's not surprising. I mean, he's on 22 lap old hards, and Jake Sorrell's on a nice fresh set of soft compound tyres. His next target is going to be Jack Wilson, who's just ahead of him.
Oh, DNF. Matt Goodyear, DNF.
Let's see where that is. On board with Ryan Doran at the moment.
VSC.
So VSC is activated. Can't see where he's gone out. Must have been into the wall of champ. Oh no, he went out on the exit of 10. Yeah, he went out on the exit of 10 on the right-hand side there. So Matt Goodyear is out. We've got VSC. For those of you who are unfamiliar with VSC, that's a virtual safety car. So the guys have to keep an equal distance between the car in front and behind. So they have to manage their sector times so that the gap remains constant even though they're going at a slower pace. Very, very difficult to do, I've got to say. Much prefer a safety car, but still, that is what it is. And it's actually, Guido, to be fair, we are here on lap 47, and that's the first safety car, virtual safety car, that we've seen in the race.
No, exactly.
Second, sorry.
It is, it's somewhat unusual, and maybe it's because of the drivers just having a little bit more respect to each other than the fighting before. And it just I remember the last update that the game had going to throw out the VSC or and the safety car much earlier and much more realistic.
Yeah.
And I really like the safety car in a field like this because it's really going to bring cars back together again.
That's the other thing. The safety car obviously has to wait for everyone to sort of close in, or all the debris to be
VSC
cleared.
doesn't do that.
VSC doesn't do that, so it's almost like having a restart of the race halfway through, and it does add quite a lot to it. But equally, on a track like this, you're going to slow it down a lot. It's a long track, and it would slow the whole pace down a lot. But yeah, I think it's 50-50. I prefer a safety car to a virtual safety car, but it's a personal choice, I guess.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, just watching Jake Sorrell getting ahead of Jack Wilson once the VSC went off on the Casino Straight. So he now moves up. Jake Sorrell moves up into P4, gets ahead of Jack Wilson, and he's going to be looking to try and chase down Tony Foster, who's coming P3. And I've got to say, great job there from Tony Foster. But this is the man I'm looking at here. And that's Jack Wilson. Even though he's just been overtaken, I think he's done a great race. 11 places.
Good job.
Really good job. So very, very impressive there from Jack Wilson, got to say. We are getting towards the closing stage of this race. We've got 21 laps remaining. We have the forecast for potential rain, but we're not too sure when the rain will fall. 90% completion or time of the race, that would put us around about lap 62, 63. If it comes down, it's really going to make it very interesting indeed.
Well, if I look at the sky, it doesn't seem like it's going to rain. So it's not grayed out, or it's not.
Yeah, it's not
starting to close.
We've still got potentially the 12 or 13 laps to go until the rain might come down. So it's going to be interesting. And wet end to the race is going to mix it up whichever way you look at it.
It is going to be interesting. Jake Sorrell's in the back of Tony Foster, P4. And you got the blue flag situation again, but that's a glitch from the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
So there's nothing going on there, but I hope they don't get penalties for that. He's making a move down the inside. Tony Foster hit him. He tried to close the door, but he was already there.
Yeah, he was already there, and he made contact with the barrier. I don't know what damage Foster's got to his car there. Oh, he's got damage on the front right end plate. Has gone out by the looks of it, and the wings. Yeah, damage on the front right wing. He's going to have to pit for that. I don't know.
Luckily, he's still in there. But he was. To be fair, the way it looked here, it was like he's trying to close the door while the car was already there.
Yeah.
But obviously, this one goes to the stewards.
Yeah, well, it probably will do. I suspect, depending upon what the drivers report or don't report, it's obviously down to driver reporting. Now, Tony's going on to a set of red wall tyres. And this is going to be very interesting indeed, releasing that McLaren now on the soft compound tyres. We've only got 19 laps remaining. It certainly can be done much lighter fuel load. So this is going to be very interesting indeed to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Thomas Cook fighting it out there with Josh Diggles and stays ahead of him. I think Josh Diggles made the move on him. Now Josh Diggles looking to try and come back at him as well. Thomas Cook is staying ahead of him. Pretty equal on the tyres, 9 and 12 lap hole tyres, both mediums though. But a real battle going on here at the moment between the Williams and the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, still. They're battling it out all the time.
I think they sort of caught up. Thomas Cook got ahead. I mean, Josh got ahead and then Thomas Cook took the place back. And it looks to me like the Williams driver is somewhat determined to get that place back.
Oh,
he's got the DRS. Not able to close down enough. He's going to try and see He's cut the corners there. I thought he did. 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, 3-second time penalty.
But cutting those corners there.
And now. He stays in there.
No. Thomas Cook pushing it. Good return there from Thomas Cook, not letting that McLaren take advantage of that.
Oh no, you can't. Oh, dangerous stuff.
Yeah,
that's dangerous stuff there. That bend is so tight there. It's.
Look at this though. Josh Diggles gets ahead. I've got to say, Guido. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you know, the thing that led all this to happen was effectively taking that straight line through the chicane. Yeah, he picked up a 3-second time penalty, but it gave him the ability to get ahead of Thomas Cook as well.
Yeah. Oh, Ross Milburn
is out.
Crashed.
Just trying to see where that is. I think that may be out of turn 2.
Yeah, it's a chicane. VSC
is out again.
Still no. That's strange. Still no safety car. Huh?
Yeah. It was actually on the exit. It looks like 4 going towards 5. He's parked up on the side there. So, yeah. Ross Milburn is out. What a great shame. What a great shame indeed for the Racing Point driver there. I'm sure he's going to be very disappointed with that. VSC is now off. We are back racing. So let's have a quick run through the drivers and their places. So Dylan Platt leads the way as he has done from the start of this race. Sean Street for McLaren is in 2nd place. In 3rd place is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. In 4th is Jack Wilson, and he's really done a great race, maintaining that P4 position for Renault. In 5 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. In 6 is Josh Diggles for Rocket Williams. Oh, and he's made contact with the wall there. Has he got damage to his car?
Yeah, Josh Diggles has got damage because I saw something flying off there. But Thomas
front
Cook
left wing.
jumped in the back.
Thomas Cook coming round now, gets ahead of
but
Josh Diggles.
Out. He's staying
out. Josh Diggles is staying out, I've got to say. A little bit surprised by that, but still.
Wing end plates, yeah.
Tony Foster is in P8. P9 is Adrian Rich, and Adrian is just about to get lapped by Ryan Leah. So Ryan Leah takes that P9 place, dropping Adrian Rich down to 10. Jamie Good is in 11. Ryan Doran for Haas is 12. Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso is 13. Cameron Widdowson in the Rocket Williams is 14. 14 drivers remaining on the track, 2 DNFs, and Callum White, no idea. I think it might be a glitch, same as Phil Harris had, unfortunately, on the processional lap. So I think both those drivers went out at that point, although we're still showing Callum White in. Don't ask me why, but still.
I have no idea.
Nor have I. Dylan Platt just sets the fastest lap at 1:09. And he's 28 seconds ahead of 2nd place Sean Street. He's on 2-lap old soft compound tyres. As I said to you, I thought he was going to close this race on the softs, and indeed he has opted to do that. Sean Street obviously on the medium compound tyre, but still very safe for that podium P2 position. Jake Sorrell is in 3rd, looking on that podium. I don't think he's actually got any penalty points against him. He's being lapped by Dylan. Yeah, P3 is being lapped by Dylan. Blue flag there, Dylan gets past him. So Jake Sorrell's in P3. I'm pretty sure he hasn't got any penalty points, has he?
Yeah, he does. 1, 2. He's got 2 penalty points and multiple warnings.
2 penalty points and multiple warnings. And Jack Wilson, how many penalty points has he got?
Jack has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Dear. Oh dear.
6 and multiple warnings.
Oh dear, he's going to drop down there.
Yeah, that's going to cost.
He's definitely going to drop down. He's going to drop down. I know Chris Knight has got a few, but I don't think he's got quite that many. Jack Wilson picks up the 3-second time penalty again, cutting that chicane. So
you can only do it so many times, and then the game will disqualify you.
Yeah, it will. I think it's maximum is 5, isn't it? No, 6.
No, I think it's more. I think it's something like 10.
Oh,
but
wow.
then, yeah, obviously you have to make 3 mistakes, you get 1 penalty.
Tony Foster is now on the back of Josh Diggles. Talk about switcheroo of the books there, so to speak. So Tony Foster is now bearing down on the back of Josh Diggles on a nice fresh set of soft compound tyres, and Diggles on the mediums. I think this is going to be very interesting to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, he's got him here.
Yeah, got him.
Oh, he lets it run off.
Runs deep, runs off. That was the same corner that...
what was that?
That was the same corner that Vettel had problems with Hamilton on.
Oh, he's going to give it back. He has to give it back.
Yeah, he's giving it back. Now he's got his teammate on the back of him, trying to lap him. So he's got Sean Street, his teammate, who's currently in P2, looking to try and see if he can get past these guys as well.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to give him a toe.
Yeah.
Oh! The danger of getting that toe at that moment.
Yeah, that was very, very close indeed, to say the least. So Sean Street gets through there okay. Josh Diggles is coming through.
Oh, and he hit it. Yeah. Oh, he hit this front end, wing end plate. Right side is gone.
Is that on Josh Diggles?
Sean Street.
On Tony Foster.
Sean Street misses the wing end plate.
Sure, Sean Street, sugar.
Yeah, right side.
Let's see, let's have a quick look. See. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's missing the front right end plate. 3-second time penalty for Jamie Good.
And so it's going to be in the mix-up right now because there's blue flags everywhere.
I was about to say, this is getting very confusing because we got the front runners coming through, not the back markers, but the other front
Williams
runners.
Hit the back of the McLaren.
Who has?
What am I looking at now? Yeah, I think Josh Diggles hit the back of McLaren because he's... And who's McLaren?
Sean Street.
Tony Foster's then.
He's hit the back of Sean Street, who's in P2.
Yeah, again.
Tony Foster picks up a 3-second time penalty. Can't see if there's any damage on that. Yeah, there is damage. Front right end plate has gone off the Williams. And we know that Sean Street's got damage as well. He can pit and come out and still be ahead, so he's not in any danger there. Tony Foster, though, still up close and personal with the Williams. We've only got 12 laps remaining, Guido. This is going to get interesting because these clouds have come in. It's gone dark. It's gone grey. It's gone grey.
And it's already confusing as it is.
Yeah.
Let alone let it rain. And come on, give us a safety car. Give us a safety car.
No, give us rain. Give us rain. We've had 3 VSCs, if I'm correct, haven't we?
Yeah. But I want
3.
I want a real one.
Well, let's see what happens. Tony Foster trying to see if he can make the move on Josh Diggles to come down into the chicane. Does a clean move there, gets ahead.
Good.
That was a good move. So Tony Foster moves up into P7. Josh Diggles drops down into P8. Jake Sorrell is in 6. Thomas Cook is in 5. Jack Wilson is 4. Chris Knight is 3. Sean Street is 2. And Dylan Platt is 1. We are on board with Dylan Platt. Just about to start his 60th lap. 10 laps now remaining of this race. Dylan Platt leads the way for Red Bull. In second place is Sean Street for McLaren. Third place is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. In fourth place is Jack Wilson for Renault. In fifth is Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. In sixth is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. In 7 is Tony Foster for McLaren. In 8 is Josh Diggles for Williams. In 9 is Ryan Lear for Haas.
And they're fighting.
Who is? Everyone's fighting. Yeah, got it. Ryan Lear fighting Josh Diggles there.
That makes it stick.
Yeah, it does make it stick. So Ryan Lear moves up into P8. P9 is now Josh Diggles. P10 is Adrian Rich. P11 is Jamie Good. P12 is Ryan Durran. 13 is Richard Williams. And 14 is Cameron Widdowson. 14 runners remaining, 2 DNFs and 1 I don't know.
I have to say that I think Josh Diggles is the one that is definitely not bored in this race.
Yeah, definitely not.
Because he's
Thomas Cook is actually on AI. So Thomas Cook is under AI. Jake Sorrell has just made a move. I just saw that. Thomas Cook is actually under AI. And he's left the session.
So he's got problems with his connection.
He's got connectivity issues. So his car is actually running under AI. So watch that drop back drastically. In F1 tonight, we do not grey out the AI. So if somebody drops out and their car goes under AI, it remains very much solid. It is obviously not as fast as the other cars because it is set to a much lower AI control, if you like, or capability. But it does mean that the guys have still got to be wary of when they're overtaking it.
Yeah, the AI is really aggressive, and it is it does tend to go its own way. And you really have to look out for overtaking that car because it's gonna damage you if it thinks that you're in its way, and it will defend itself.
Yeah, it will defend itself.
It's raining.
It is raining. Yeah, it is starting to rain now. See the drops coming down. And Jamie Good picks up a 3-second time. Okay, now this is really going to mix it up. Dylan Platt safe. He's got 41 seconds. Chris Knight, Sean Street safe. He's got a minute on Chris Knight. And Jake Sorrell just getting ahead of Chris Knight now, actually.
Oh, Dylan just set us fastest.
So Jake Sorrell has now moved up into P3. Chris Knight's dropped down into 4. I said he was safe. I meant that he was, Sean Street was safe effectively. So 1 and 2 looking safe. But a real fight going on here for P3. Jake Sorrell just took the place from Chris Knight, and they're battling it out. But what's going to happen here? I mean, Jake Sorrell's on a fresh set of, or relatively fresh set of softs.
Jake Sorrell's on AI.
Down. He is on AI.
Yeah,
he is on AI. Right, he's had connection issue as well then. So, oh dear, we might be having some major connection issues because a number of people dropping out here. So Chris Knight now needs to get past this AI.
Yeah, but he really has to look out. Yeah, this is where he should do it. Yeah, that's good.
That's it. He'll get past him now. So Chris Knight retakes the P3 position as Jake Sorrell, unfortunately, has got under AI, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. We are on lap 63, Guido. I said it was going to start around about lap 62, 63, and it started on lap 62.
3-second time penalty. Jamie Good is on attack on Adrian Rich. He'll get it. He'll get it.
Yeah, coming down into the chicane there, gets ahead. Jamie Good moving up into P10. Adrian Rich now drops to P11 and out of the points.
Well, let's see who's going to be the first one that's coming in. Because I can imagine that things are really going to be slippery. It doesn't really rain that hard, but it tends to take away its speed.
I was about to say, yeah, but with the amount of oil that's going to be on this track, with the water coming down, it's going to be pretty much like an ice rink.
Yeah.
So this is really going to mix it up. Just trying to see if you've got any idea. Oh, Ryan Lear getting taken there by Thomas Cook. So Thomas Cook getting past Ryan Lear. So Thomas Cook is back in. Yeah, he is. Okay, so Thomas Cook has reconnected. He's got ahead of Ryan Lear, so he's gone up into P6. Thomas Cook now bearing down on Tony Foster. Tony Foster trying to get past the AI of Jake Sorrell. Chris Knight just trying to see if he can make up speed.
Don't do that!
Oh,
he does.
Tony Foster just gets past the AI, and so does Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook trying to make the move. Yeah, he's wheel to wheel, getting past. Yeah, he's passed as well. So both Tony Foster, Thomas Cook through. Ryan Lear now is the next man to try and make the move. Oh, contact! And he spun him round. He's lost his front wing completely there, Ryan Lear.
And that was an AI. Look, that was an AI.
Yeah, it was the AI that took him out. The VSC. So we've got VSC now active, as we've got debris on the Droit de Casino. Cameron Widdowson's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. Oh no!
No,
that is not what he wanted. He's in P14 anyway, but that is not what he wanted. So we've got 65, lap 65, 5 laps remaining. We got a VSC, and yeah, that AI is somewhat aggressive.
Yeah, Ryan Lear. 5-second tap and it's severe collision with Jake Sorrell.
Yeah, well, that was because that was actually the AI who went into him.
No.
As he was coming into the pit. Yeah, it did. I just watched it.
Exactly. He drove past the AI who also had the pit.
Yeah.
And he fully hit him.
Oh, DRS has been re-enabled.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, well, VSC is off. They didn't disable the DRS anyway because it wasn't that wet.
Oh, that's it.
Cameron Widdowson has actually retired from the session. Can't say blame him on that one, to be fair. Jake Sorrell, his AI is currently in P8. Jack Wilson is in 7. Josh Diggles is in 6, and he's trying to get past the Toro Rosso there. Obviously, blue flags being waved. And he's now going to sign, see if he can catch up to Thomas Cook. But there's only 4 laps remaining. I think this is pretty much a done deal, Guido, looking at it. I mean, Thomas Cook is trying to make the move on Tony Foster. Going to see if he can get alongside him into 1. Gets alongside him, gets his nose ahead out of 1 and into 2. So Thomas Cook moves up into that P4 position. But this is definitely getting wet. I mean, what on earth do you do here? Because you've got 4 laps remaining. The last thing you want to do is come in and go onto a set of intermediates, especially as they're not really going to be doing much. This is the worst of both worlds.
Of Sander Hermans. Who has, Jake Sorrell retired.
Yeah, Jake Sorrell has DNF'd. The question is where, though? Ryan Lear's just coming out. There's a safety car. We've got a safety car out, Guido. Safety car out on lap 67. We could see, and that was out of 2. Out of 2, Jake Sorrell is right across the middle of the road there.
It could potentially end the race.
This could end the race. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this could potentially end the race. So the safety car is actually at that exit of turn 2, waiting for Dylan Platt.
Sander Hermans rightfully said, wouldn't it be funny or fun if Adrian Rich, without penalty points, will end up in P3? Well, things are going to really come together.
Oh my God! Actually, you look at it. That is a strong possibility, actually. That is a strong possibility, and that would really be a turn up for the books. Adrian Rich, currently in P9, has no penalty points. Everybody else ahead of him has multiple. He's left the session.
Oh no, there's something going on right now.
Oh, this is a major glitch I think we've got going on here. This is a major glitch we've got going on here. Of course, his AI could still finish the race. It is still there. I think
it's... I don't know what the problem could be. It could be the internet connection in the UK. Could it be the...
My connection's okay, so I can't really say, to be quite honest.
It could be the servers that are overloaded because everybody's at home watching races or doing races.
No, I think I know what the issue might be. I know. We did actually have somebody join the session who shouldn't have been there. Can't see who's in the session, unfortunately. I think that may be the issue. So Adrian Rich is currently under AR. Safety car is out. 2 laps remaining. Let's see if Dylan Platt has now caught up with the safety car. But we're on lap 68 of 70, Guido. This safety car is not going to come in at the end of lap 69. It's going to come in at the end of lap 70. We are going to have a safety car finish. Never seen that before.
No, that's the first for F1 tonight.
That is a major. Yeah, definitely a first for F1 tonight. Oh my goodness, 10-second time penalty for Tony Foster for exceeding track limits.
Oh no. How is that possible here?
Well, I don't know, Guido. I honestly think that who put that in the comments about Adrian Rich, because at the moment it could well be the case.
Xander zone.
Yeah, Xander, good shout, because that could well be the case, because we are going to see if Adrian Rich has no penalties, which he doesn't, he's going to jump up.
Well, unfortunately, this is what it is in the online. Oh, what's going on? Did the safety car just? It's just
safety car's gone. Safety car came in at the end of lap 69. That's really unusual. Again. So they are racing for the final 2 laps. Sorry, it came in at the end of lap 68. So they are racing for these final 2 laps. I've never seen that before either. The safety car meets a driver in the same lap that it goes in. Wow, okay. This is weird.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. We are going to be racing to the finish. Yeah, this is going to be... Oh,
Chris Knight hit the wall.
Thomas Cook making contact with the wall, trying to fight out with his teammate, Chris Knight.
Hit the wall. Thomas Cook just overtook him because Chris Knight hit it.
Chris Knight hit the wall, sorry, not Thomas Cook. I do apologise. And in a major way, he's taken out his front wing. Well, they were both racing against each other for position, but Chris Knight has wiped out his front wing. Thomas Cook gets ahead of him, but is Chris Knight going to stay out? Because what's he going to do?
Oh, yeah, he should, I think.
What's he going to do? He should come in, but is he going to? He's got 1 lap remaining. I really think that he probably won't. Tony Foster is only, 3 seconds behind him at this moment in time? Jack Wilson is just off Josh Diggles at this moment. Jack Wilson dropped down to 7.
No, he's staying out. Oh, he misses turn. You know, in the end, this really happens. This people dropping out and stuff like that. In the end, it's just like the real F1.
Yeah, definitely.
Technical issues.
Definitely. Well, we're on the final lap. Let's see what happens. Dylan Platt now coming round turn 10. The final time that he comes round the the pin. Coming down the casino straight towards that final chicane and the win. And I've got to say, yet another awesome win there from Dylan. Led from start to finish. What a race. Takes the win. Dylan Platt is our winner. Sean Street.
Oh, Jack Wilson
will come second.
Oh, they're still making a move.
He comes through his final chicane. He crosses the line. The question is, who will come third? So, Sean Street crosses the line. Thomas Cook has crossed the line. Tony Foster, Josh Diggles, Jack Wilson, Chris Knight, all crossing the line. Thomas Cook is keeping that P3 position.
I think Adrian's going to stick behind.
Yeah, I think he is. Thomas Cook. Yeah, he does. Thomas Cook comes third. Chris Knight is fourth. Josh Diggles is fifth. Tony Foster is sixth. Jack Wilson is 7. Ryan Lear is 8. 9 is Adrian Rich. 10 is Ryan Doran. Jamie Good comes 11. Richard Williams, his teammate, is 12. So not a good day for Toro Rosso. But good day certainly for Dylan Platt.
I think Adrian jumped up a place.
Well, let's have a look at the final screens, and there you have it. That is the conclusion of our F1 tonight. Season 2, round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. Dylan Platt takes the win. Sean Street for McLaren takes second. And Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo takes third place. Well, what a result that was, Guido. I've got to say, that was...
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah. I mean, we've been discussing a few things, obviously, offline on chat, but I want to have a look through this board before I make any decision, Guido. Because I want to see what sort of penalties we've got awarded here. Wow. Oof, 9 penalties. No, I'm not... I've got to say, Guido, I'm actually... Oh, I think this might be contentious. I don't know, but I'm looking at these penalty points, and it's absolutely ridiculous, the penalty points that are being incurred here. Yeah. So I'm actually going to stall the driver of the day for today. I've got my thoughts on that, but I want to discuss it offline with you before we actually announce that. So we'll announce that in the drivers' chat. But our winner was Dylan Platt. Second place goes to Sean Street, and third goes to Thomas Cook. Well, what a great race that was, Guido, got to say. It was action all the way, wasn't it? It
shook things up a bit in the end, and I have to say that we saw a lot of fighting from Josh Diggles. He was really in there today, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But in the end, you know, it's this glitching that is really. I've
got to say, you know, a quick shout out to our viewers. You know, unfortunately, we are somewhat restricted as to the software effectively that we're running on, and it's a great shame. But we seem to have encountered an awful lot of issues in recent times, and I know that a number of sim racers have had issues. Lando Norris had issues. A lot of people running have had issues, but it could be connection issues. I think it's more glitch issues. But next week we are going to be in France, so don't miss out on that. It's certainly going to be one hell of a race, and it's one hell of a track, I've got to say. So next week we will be for the French Grand Prix, round 8. That's next Tuesday evening. This Thursday evening, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. You can see the F1 Tonight Netherlands team or league. They will be racing here at Canada. So if you want to have a look at a different perspective for that, then by all means watch that, because it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time this Thursday. Next Tuesday, we'll be back in France for round 7 of the F1 Tonight UK Season 2 races. It just leaves for me to say good night, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed it. So it's a good night for me.
Yeah, and a good night for me too. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.